Bancroft-Rosalie head coach John Cerny knows his Panthers offense can hurt their opponent in a number of ways, with quarterback Jacob Farewell completing 60% of his passes. Overton's last appearance in the state finals was 2 years ago under head coach Glenn Snodgrass. His Eagles are very experienced this year, with senior quarterback Andrew McCarter leading the way. The Class D1 state final is next. NET Sports, Nebraska's home for sports, is live from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska for the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships. Tonight in the Class D1 title game, it's the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers and the Overton Eagles. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Adrian Fiala, I'm Kevin Kugler. Great to have you with us tonight for the D1 state championship game between Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton. And, Aid, you talk about this Overton bunch. They've been here before.
You bet.
Their focus was to get back here again this year.
Kevin, this is a very hungry football team, a team that has been here twice in the last 3 years, a team focused on winning today, a team whose goal it was at the beginning of the year was to be here and to win this championship. Head coach Glenn Snodgrass said this is our fastest team, the fastest team he's ever had, led by two very explosive running backs in Andy McCarter and Joel Hodgson, both 1,000-yard rushers. And then defense, well, they've limited opponents to 8 points a game. They put up 5 shutouts this year. Overton Eagles, a team to reckon with here tonight.
Well, our third member of our booth up here is former Husker I-back Damon Benning, and with that Overton defense, Bancroft-Rosalie's offense can challenge him in a whole lot of ways.
Absolutely. It's a team led by the three horsemen, Jacob Farewell, Kyle Novak, and Chase Gokin. And if Gokin's available to go, he hasn't practiced all week, and there's some concerns about that shoulder injury. If Gokin's able to go, he gives them a very balanced attack. If Gokin's not able to go, they will rely heavily on that defense, mainly Devin Niewarner, who's made some plays for them all year. And while they're unorthodox on defense, they've been effective all year long.
Well, there's no question about it. In this D1 title game, a brand new look. Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton. With more on that, here's Larry Putney.
Well, there's no question, Kevin. Overton in this championship for the third time in the last 4 years. They're just thrilled to not have on the opposite sideline Howells. Howells won this title 6 consecutive years. They moved up to C2 this year, so new teams have a chance. Overton thinks they're the team to beat, but the last team to win Class D1 other than Howells, Bancroft-Rosalie.
And we'll see if they can become the next team to win in Class D1. The last team, of course, Bancroft-Rosalie, but Howells, they fell short in their quest to make another state championship in C2, made it to the semifinals, but could not get one step further into the finals. So new teams tonight, new faces in D1 with Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton, two teams with tremendously successful seasons. Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton each 11-1 on the year. Overton's loss coming in the third week of the season to Axtell, 19-15, and Bancroft-Rosalie lost to D2 state champion Dodge, 48-36 in that second week of the season. But both of these teams coming in on a real roll. Overton on the year has just been dominating in their victories. 5 shutouts on the season. Check out these scores: 70-0, 49-0, 66-0, 78-0, and I don't know what went wrong against Crawford. It was only 41-0 in that ball game.
Kevin, and in the playoffs, they've averaged 42 points a game. That's a little bit under their season average of 50 a game, and limited opponents in the playoffs is just 14 points a game. So again, this Overton team is a very strong football team, rated number 4 in the country, and again, a team to reckon with.
Well, let's go to public address announcer Rich Broderson to introduce you to the participants in the D1 state championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Memorial Stadium and the 2006 Nebraska School Activities Association State Football Championships for tonight's D1 championship game between the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers and the Overton Eagles. And now for the introductions of the players and coaches. First, please welcome the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers. Number 2, Colton Bowling. Number 6, Jacob Farewell. Number 7, Jeremy Anderson. Number 11, Chase Gokin. Number 12, Derek Dufek. Number 13, Cameron Brumman. Number 14, Devin Niewarner. Number 18, Blake Reel. Number 21, Clint Saul. Number 22, Austin Bono. Number 24, Stuart Mole. Number 30, Kyle Novak. Number 33, Joshua Butler. Number 37, Derek Buck. Number 40, Thomas Luchin. Number 47, Sean Willman. Number 54, Bo Davis. Number 66, Derek Mueller. Number 77, Justin Fredrickson. Number 80, Jesse Monroe. Number 88, Jace Katzmeyer. And number 91, Evan Weberg. The head coach for the Panthers, Dr. John Cerny. And now the rest of the high school players and coaches.
There's Bancroft-Rosalie, 11-1 on the year, led by Dr. John Cerny and this Bancroft-Rosalie team. Coach Cerny in his 24th year as the head coach at Bancroft-Rosalie, won the state title in 1985, won the state title in 1999. They were runners-up in 1986. He's also the superintendent of Bancroft-Rosalie High School, been the superintendent for the past 13 years, and he brings a very good football team into this state championship. We gave the numbers for some of Overton's scores, but boy, Bancroft-Rosalie has been as dominant this year. 5 games in which they've held their opponents to 8 points or less in a ball game. Very, very stingy defense and a very good offense as well for Bancroft-Rosalie. And now let's head back to public address announcer Rich Broderson to introduce you to the Overton Eagles.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Overton Eagles. Number 6, Andrew McCarter. Number 7, Tyler Nitch. Number 9, Brian Jeffries. Number 10, Joel Hudson. Number 11, Andrew Romy. Number 12, Nathan Simpson. Number 15, Daniel Zolkowski. Number 20, Jared Hudson. Number 21, Benjamin Fisher. Number 22, Trevor Bryan. Number 24, Taylor Swanson. Number 27, Seth Area. Number 29, Drew Carr. Number 30, Thomas Marshall. Number 32, Tyler Hanks. Number 33, Brad Hanks. Number 40, Brandon Cup. Number 42, Nathan Bacon. Number 44, Dane Rudine. Number 79, Ryan Cox. Number 81, Tyler Davenport. And number 88, Caleb Jensen. The head coach for the Eagles, Glenn Snodgrass. And now the rest of the Overton High School players and coaches.
It's been their focus all year. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. After falling short a couple of times, Overton made it a goal. Get to Lincoln. This year they are in Lincoln, and now the goal is to win in Lincoln for this Overton squad. They're very confident they can do it. Let's take a look at where these teams came from to get to Lincoln. You see Overton and Bancroft-Rosalie. It's a straight shot, although a healthy drive from Overton to Bancroft-Rosalie. And the path to Memorial Stadium for these two schools, well, it was a relatively easy road. Overton demolished Stewart and took care of Juanita Palisade. Bancroft-Rosalie with a come-from-behind win over top-ranked Clarkson. And then Bancroft-Rosalie with the win over Lord's Central Catholic to make it here to this state championship game. And now one will be claiming that crown as the champions of Class D1, as you see the Overton Eagles down to surround the goalpost in preparation for this game. Bancroft-Rosalie in the white tonight, and Overton in the all blue with the black numerals.
Kevin, after a close playoff game against Clarkson, a 2-point win for Bancroft-Rosalie. Then they went into the semifinals and simply blew out Lourdes Central Catholic 66-14, a game they led 52-8 at halftime. Their defense just absolutely took that football game over. So they're riding a pretty good wave of momentum right now. Their defense loves to play the game, and again, just 15 points a game by that much. So you look at Bancroft-Rosalie and think, well, perhaps, hey, they got a good shot here, but Overton is very, very focused.
And speaking of Overton, Larry Putney was just in the Eagles locker room. What'd you find out, Larry?
Having a very fired up, as you can imagine, pregame locker room. Glenn Snodgrass talked to his club and said, you know what this eagle on our helmet's all about. It's about smash mouth football and jamming it down opponent's throat. Everybody in western Nebraska knows it. Now it's time to let the rest of the state know it.
Well, that's the goal tonight. They make no bones about it. Overton's going to run. They're going to run the football. They're going to pound away and try to wear teams out. They've done it all year long.
What's that story about? Overton Mountain. You remember that song, guys?
You guys won the
Nobody
toss
goes
and you
there. Here's the
decided to
toss.
receive. Is that correct? Okay, and you're going to defend that goal, correct? Turn around with your backs to those goals, gentlemen.
And Bancroft-Rosalie is going to get the football first. The Panthers will start on offense, and the Eagles defense will hit the field first. The D1 state championship from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska kicks off next on NET Sports.
Some people tell me it's just a game, but it's more than that, at least to me. It's years of playing catch with my dad and friends in the backyard. It's a drawer full of jerseys and a lifetime of loving the game.
The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates every player and coach who plays the game safely, with spirit, integrity, and pride. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
Programming on NET television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
Hi, Kevin Kugler and Adrian Fiala inviting you to join us for Big Red Wrap-Up.
Kevin, our guest will be sports writer Lee Barfnick from the Omaha World Herald.
Join us Tuesday, November 28th for Big Red Wrap-Up here on NET, Nebraska's home for sports.
The American dream may be a much overplayed symbol, but nonetheless a very important guiding light for so many new immigrants to this country. And the McCrades are a prime example.
They were entrepreneurial giants in the history of Omaha, in the history of Nebraska, in the history of the West.
NET Television presents the story of the Creightons, a family that was determined to change the country and put Omaha on the map.
Coming in December to NET1.
The 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships are being carried live over the internet, so if you have friends or family who don't have access to NET, have them log on to netnebraska.org, click sports, and follow the prompts to State High School football. NET is Nebraska's home for sports. Our weather, temperatures 39 degrees. It feels like 34. Clear skies, little wind out of the south-southeast at 6 miles per hour. It's a chilly night, but not a bad night for football. We've certainly had much worse at the start of our state championships. As we take a look at the officials tonight, Tom Heinrichs, the referee, Denny Crawford, the umpire, Michael Henderson, the head linesman, Robbie Craig, the line judge, and Rick Jansen is the back judge. Bancroft-Rosalie will get the football to start things off here tonight. Jeremy Anderson and Chase Gokin back deep to return for Bancroft-Rosalie. So one of our questions answered right away. Gokin is out there on the kickoff return. He injured his shoulder last week and has not practiced at all this week, but he's out there to start tonight There he is for Bancroft-Rosalie. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the game.
Kevin, we'll see if Joel Hodgson kicking off can get it to the end zone. Here we go.
Hodgson's kick, straight on kick, and it's taken by Anderson at the 10. Anderson across the 20. And Anderson across the 25 to the 26-yard line. The tackle out there made by Clarkson's Drew Carr. And let's take a look at the offense for Bancroft-Rosalie as the Panthers get the field first. Jacob Farewell at quarterback, Chase Gokin and Kyle Novak in the backfield. Devin Niewarner and Jace Gatzmeyer, the offensive ends. Clint Saul, Cameron Drummond, and Evan Weberg along that offensive line. First down and 10 from the 26-yard line. As they give right up the middle to the fullback, Kyle Novak. And Novak barreling forward for a pickup of 4. And it'll be second down and 6. The defense for the Overton Eagles, 11-1 on the year. Nathan Bacon, Seth Area, and Brian Jeffries along that defensive line. The backs and linebackers, Andrew McCarter, Thomas Marshall, Joel Hodgson, Trevor Bryan, and Dane Rudine. Second down and 6 yards to go for the first. The give right up the middle again to Kyle Novak, and Novak over the right side picks up 5. It'll leave him 3rd and 1 from the 35-yard line. And so far, Bancroft-Rosalie doing exactly what's expected, pounding away right up the middle with Novak.
And of late, the fullback has been the guy. Novak, as you said, Kevin, making that yardage, and the splits in the Overton defensive line. Very wide splits in that defensive line. A lot of room there for the backers to cover. And the 2 carries, 9 yards. Good start.
3rd down and 1 from the 35. Again up the middle with Novak, and just should have enough for the first down, although the spot indicates he might be short. Good tackle out there by Nathan Bacon, the defensive end, who got down under there and was able to pull Novak back before he got the first down.
Yeah, they went into a 4-man line that time, Damon. That 3-man line with the wide splits gave up 9 yards. They decided, well, that short yardage, let's shut her down, put up 4, and the backers a little tighter.
I think that might be how you see Overton try to stop the inside running game, is to cover up both guards and play with that 4-man front. We'll see as the game evolves.
4th down and short, and a quarterback sneak for Jacob Farewell, and Farewell has a first down for Bancroft-Rosalie. Dr. John Cerny, the head coach of Bancroft-Rosalie, would be very happy. His offense was described by his opposing head coach Glenn Snodgrass as the epitome of 3 yards and a cloud of dust. I think he'd be very happy to see 3 yards and a cloud of dust tonight against this Overton team.
Well, they went 4-man front that time again, but the quarterback picked it up very, very quickly. Jacob Farewell, here we go, guys.
On first down and 10 from the 37, and just able to get him going around the corner, Dane Rudine. Otherwise, Chase Gokin is going to have a big gain down the near sidelines.
Interesting cat and mouse game. Adrian talked earlier about the 4-man front. The way to counter that is to get to the perimeter quickly. Good lead block here by the fullback. It's a very short corner here in 8-man football, so if Overton's going to choose their poison and try to cover up those guards with a 4-man line, the edge is going to be susceptible. Be interesting to see how it plays out.
And when you have a guy like Rudine who has 4.5 speed, he can help you a great deal on that edge play.
Second down and 5 in Overton territory, and the keep by Farewell on the option. He's got a first down and more. The ball pops out. Who's got it? Farewell coughs it up, and it's recovered by Overton, I believe. Are they going to say he was down? No, it's Overton football.
I thought so, Kevin. It looked like Andrew McCarter just came up inside and just ripped the ball right out of the grasp of Farewell on the play.
McCarter recovered, and we'll see if we can see who got the rip.
Take a look at the fake here. It's a good read by the quarterback. He gets to the edge, he even faked our camera crew out. And you see the ball just stripped out, and that's the superstar, McCarter. Coach talked about how he's been everywhere, especially since he made the switch to defense. And there he is, his first impact play of the game comes as a safety.
Well, timeout on the field. Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton scoreless here in the first. After a loss earlier in the season, snapped their 54-game win streak. Howells was hungry for a victory. Let's go back to the 2005 championship game between Howells and Axtell. In the Class D1 title game, it's the Axtell Wildcats and the Howells Bobcats. And a throw, and it is caught for the touchdown. Janata to throw down the sideline, looking for Faltis. Faltis has it near the 10-yard line. As Faltis sheds a tackle, Faltis down to the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown. Another high snap. Gustafson in some trouble after that snap. Throws, and it is caught. Breaking away, and a touchdown, Warren Carmody. From the 3, Konachek into the end zone. It's the touchdown. Congratulations to the Howells Bobcats, champions of Class D1. We know we'll have a new champion, but with that win, Howells tied the state record by winning its 6th consecutive championship. Who will be the D1 champs this year? We will find out as this game progresses. So far, first turnover goes Overton's way, and the first possession of the night for the Overton Eagles as Andrew McCarter, who stripped that football a moment ago, comes out. He's got Joel Hodgson behind him on 1st down and 10 from the 29-yard line. The give is to Hodgson, bounces off one man, and Hodgson down to the 34-yard line. Evan Weberg on the tackle. A 5-yard pickup, though, on 1st down. Let's look at the offense for the Overton Eagles. Your backs and receivers, Andrew McCarter, Trevor Bryan, Joel Hodgson, Nathan Bacon, and Dane Rudine. The backs and receivers on the offensive line, Seth Area, Tyler Davenport, and Brandon Cupp. 2nd down, and a give right up the middle again to Hodgson, and Hodgson driven back after a gain of a couple. Tackle made by Blake Reel, and here's the Bancroft-Rosalie Panther defense. Jeremy Anderson, Blake Reel, Clint Saul, and Kyle Novak along that defensive line. Backs and linebackers, TJ Luchin, Jace Gatzmeyer, Devin Niewarner, and Evan Weberg. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 36-yard line. Andrew McCarter under center on 3rd down. Quick drop, throws, the pass is tipped, and it's incomplete, intended for Dane Rudine, and it'll be 4th down for Overton.
Good work by Jeremy Anderson that time on the pressure. Trying to get that ball out into the flat. There is Anderson right there. He had to throw the ball, try to throw the ball around him. He got right into the passing lane and knocked the football down. Great work by Anderson.
Jace Gatzmeyer will head back deep to return the punt, nearly blocked, and a good punt by Andrew McCarter, who's doing it all, and McCarter's punt goes out of bounds, and they'll mark it out at about the 16-yard line, and that's where Bancroft-Rosalie will start on their 2nd offensive possession. Get all the inside information on the Huskers after the Colorado game on Big Red Wrap-Up Tuesday, November 28th, live at 7 Central Time. Our guest will be Lee Barfneck from the Omaha World-Herald. It's a complete review of the game with highlights, commentary, discussion, and the latest recruiting news with Huskers Illustrated Sean Callahan. Join Adrian Fiala and me for the next Big Red Wrap-Up Tuesday, November 28th. It's right here on NET, Nebraska's home for sports. From the 19-yard line, 1st down and 10 for the Panthers of Bancroft-Rosalie. Toss play, short side. Here comes Gokin. First carry of the day for Gokin with that sore shoulder, and he picks up 3 yards out to the 22-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 7 for Bancroft-Rosalie.
Take a look at the replay here. You can see the contrasting styles defensively. Overton, the much bigger, more physical team on defense, able to line it up pretty much textbook and play defense. Bancroft, on the other hand, a lot of 5-man fronts, doing a lot of the dictating early on their side of the football. So interesting how both teams try to play to their individual strengths.
Kyle Novak, the lone setback. On 2nd down, Novak gets the carry, and Novak across the 25 to the 26-yard line. It's 4 yards on the fullback carry. It'll leave Bancroft-Rosalie in yardage they like, 3rd down and 3 in this 1st quarter.
Novak almost 1,300 yards on the year, 21 touchdowns. And I tell you, the Overton splits have been kind of interesting to watch in their defensive line. The last couple of plays, they've tightened up the splits in that 3-man front versus the first series that they were in the ball game, and now they're wide again here.
Farewell on the option. Farewell trying to get to the outside, and there's McCarter again. Terrific open field tackle. That's only a gain of a yard. It was 1-on-1, and the blue 6 beats the white 6 there in McCarter's tackle.
So I tell you, Overton deciding that they're going to play a lineman assignment technique football. No matter where these splits are, you see the wide look here. That end knows that he's responsible for first thing to show, first football through. He closes. Everybody's trying to play a lineman and assignment football. Let the technique come as it may.
Evan Weberg back to punt on 4th down and a yard. And McCarter back deep. Good punt by Weberg. Bounces at the 15. Takes a great Overton bounce. And it'll go out of bounds at the 1-inch line. You can't be any closer to the goal line. What a punt by Evan Weberg.
I tell you, I don't know how appropriate that's been for them on the season. The coach didn't speak very highly of their special teams, although he did.
Yeah,
he did say nice things about the punting game.
Yeah, he did. He said
special teams as a whole hadn't been a plus for him.
He said we're gonna kick it, directional kick it, and man, that was about as good as you can do.
On December 4th, NET Television presents The Creightons Building the Dream. This NET high-definition production takes a look at Omaha's Creighton family, the founders of Creighton University. Find out the impact this one family had on the development of Omaha. The Creightons Building the Dream premieres Monday, December 4th at 7 Central Time on NET1 and in high definition on NET HD as Overton goes with the safe play, just trying to get a little breathing room. McCarter just following those big guys up front. Gets a couple of yards to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, head coach John Cherney told us pregame that we're going to kick to spots. We're going to try to directional kick in terms of, he was referring more to kickoffs there, but the punting game worked out as equally as well.
A little bit of a toss play, looking for room over the right side is Joel Hodgson, and Hodgson out near the 7-yard line. It's going to leave Overton on 3rd and manageable. They'll have about 4 yards for the first.
Early on, you see, again, pointing out the difference in both defensive philosophies. Bancroft choosing to play gap football. They're covering both guards, trying to play gap, so have to be careful. They could be susceptible to a big play.
Hodgson again, and Hodgson slips out of a tackle, and he's got the first down. They had a chance in the backfield with Jace Gatzmeyer to keep him from getting that first, but Hodgson, slippery as an eel, able to get free, and he has the first down.
Been a tough play for Gatzmeyer. He's lucky to get him with the arm as he did, but Jace Gatzmeyer, 5'10", 155, been tough for him to make the hit to the inside with the head at the right angle and drive him back. They pick up that first down, and Overton gets a little room here, Kevin.
First down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Option play. McCarter, the pitch to Trevor Bryan, and Bryan has the corner and a first down as the Overton Eagles go with their running back, Trevor Bryan. Didn't have a ton of yards this year, guys, but he makes the most of his carry there. A big play and a first down.
Take a look at the replay here. We talk about playing gap responsibility football. When guys don't get to their spots, this is what you see happen. Overton able to get to the edge. Coach obviously is deciding he's going to try to get the ball to the perimeter when he sees that 5-man front.
And now into the shotgun on first down. McCarter will run directly from the shotgun, and nothing doing. Bancroft-Rosalie right there to stack him up. Maybe a yard on the play. As he takes it out near the 28-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 9. Pretty good defense from Bancroft-Rosalie. We're in the first, scoreless in the D1 state championship. Andrew McCarter and the Overton Eagles on 2nd down and 9. Short side option. Hodgson slips out of one tackle and is run out of bounds. A yard and a half shy of the first down. Evan Weberg, the first guy to get there, but he couldn't wrap him up. Hodgson has been a tough guy to tackle in this first quarter.
He has. He runs very tough, Kevin. No question about it. Overton trying to set this play up by running motion from the left side back to the right side to get that defense looking to the left side of the formation. Then they come back from where the motion did come and pick up excellent yardage just short of a first down. Going to try to pick that up here on this 3rd down.
3rd down, a yard and a half for the first. Hodgson gets the carry, and Hodgson is not going to get there. Underneath that pile, you'll find Kyle Novak, the defensive end, who did a great job of sniffing that place, shed off a block, and it looks like he was able to stop him short.
Interesting cat and mouse game going on. Just the previous play on 2nd down, Bancroft lines up in a 7-man front. You don't see that very often in 8-man football. Conversely, here on 3rd and short, again went back to that gap football, trying to fill holes.
4th down and 1. And here comes the punt team again for Overton. Andrew McCarter fakes the punt, swings it out, and it's incomplete. A bit of a gamble for Glenn Snodgrass. McCarter, who punts, also the quarterback. He had his man open, intended for Marshall, but the pass thrown high, and so Bancroft-Rosalie is going to get good field position.
Kind of had an idea right here because he was not very deep in terms of lining up in the formation. So as a linebacker, you need to watch that particular kind of move and be ready for the fake, and indeed it was. Cedar was there, but unfortunately the throw was not.
First down and 10, and now the Panthers start on the Overton side of midfield. Play fake, Farewell looking for the big play. Airing it out deep downfield, pass is tipped, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Thomas Marshall, but we'll wait and see what the flag says.
Bancroft not wasting any time. It's what we call a sudden change play right after a turnover, seeking a big play. Looks like they'll be rewarded as they call the pass interference on the defense.
Well, there's a lot of coverage out there. We'll see the push.
It's like just a lot of good hand fighting right there. I probably would have kept the flag in my pocket had I been that referee.
Well, it looked like number 22 for Overton, and that would be Trevor Bryan. He was locked up in the battle, and that's a discretionary call right there. He's got the right to go for the football too, and you can't impede the receiver in terms of trying to receive, and perhaps he thought he did, Damon, but I think that was hey, each guy can go for it, and he was looking for it.
Absolutely. It's interesting to see how the pendulum has swung both ways with those sudden plays of Bancroft giving up the fumble on their first possession and then not converting on the fourth down for Overton. Now they're trying to respond here.
Gokin back into the lineup. We haven't seen much of him in the backfield yet tonight. Novak gets the carry up the middle, and from the 20-yard line, Novak picks up a pair to the 18, where it'll be 2nd down and 8 for Bancroft-Rosalie, trying to take advantage of Overton's turnover on downs near midfield. 2nd down and 8 for the Panthers, who have been playing all year with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They were not rated in the preseason, and a team that's all year kind of felt like they were underappreciated, playing the underdog role all the way to the state championship game. 2nd and 8, Novak again with the carry, and Novak pounding forward for 2 more yards. I'm going to mark him at the 17. It'll be a gain just of 1, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 for this Panther team.
Once again, the wide split on the Overton defense. Dane Rudine closed it down from that defensive end spot very quickly. A lot of room between the front 3 guys, but Rudine is so quick. He runs very well, as he said. Fastest guy on the team at 4.5, but also very quick to move laterally and close it down right there.
3rd down and 7 from the Overton 17-yard line. Scoreless first quarter in the D1 state championship game. The give up the middle, Gokin to the 15, and again, not much doing up the middle as a good tackle by Nathan Bacon, who's been very active early for this Overton defense.
Be interesting to see as we take a look at the replay here how quick Overton can adjust to that to that defensive end crashing down so hard. You're almost waiting for Farewell on the keep and maybe for them to get the ball on the edge with the option game, because there's a play there to be had if Overton can catch them in that crashing defense.
Well, it's 4th down and 5 on the 15-yard line, and Coach Cerny is going to go for it here on 4th down. Farewell to throw, man wide open, tipped and almost intercepted. Terrific play by Dane Rudine. He's 6'6", and it's hard to lob one over a big guy like that. Rudine able to knock it down and get the ball back for Overton.
Boy, the play was there, really was there. Here's the pass out in the flat, and Rudine, if he doesn't make that play, that ball's caught by number 11 down there. That's Chase Gokin, and it's probably a touchdown, guys. But man, what a great play by Rudine.
So it's 1st and 10 as each team holds on a 4th down try. And now Overton back to work again, and a huge stick in the backfield, untouched into the backfield. Blake Reel, who got there first to just bury the carry after a loss on the play of 3 yards. Just nowhere to go. Reel there along with TJ Luchin.
I love to see it. Love to see that defense, guys.
High risk, high reward here. They've turned up the pressure quite a bit.
Short side option. McCarter gets spun around by the face mask, and that's going to cost the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers. You see McCarter rubbing the neck after that play. That one will hurt.
Adrian, you hear us talk a lot about, and you mentioned a lot during your broadcast about having 8 and 9 in the box. Well, the equivalent to be to having 6 or 7 in the box. And I tell you, Overton has showed that quite a bit. They're going to have to hold their breath here a little bit to keep from giving up that big play. It is there.
You bet. I absolutely. When you stack all the chairs in the first 2 rows, and if you can get by it, you know what happens. You
Look
go.
at that.
Yeah.
Weber got a hold of that helmet And it's a 15-yard personal foul. Wow.
Shades of Travis Oaks at K-State. Eric Crouch. Remember that, guys?
I was thinking more Linda Blair.
Well, that too. His head just about made it all the way around on that play. And the strange thing about that whole play was there was no after effects, thank God, but the referee, I don't know what he was looking at. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Down there at K-State. Goodness.
Well, we do know that Andrew McCarter has a flexible spine running up to his brain there because it got tested on that play. What a twist. First down and 10 now at the 29-yard line. Overton with the first down. McCarter going to keep, and McCarter bowls over a potential tackler, and Jeremy Anderson brings him down. Nice gain though on the play for Andrew McCarter.
Well-conceived play here, and I think this might be what Overton might go to. You see, you take a look at the little counter action with the pulling guard. Try to use Bancroft's ability to pursue against them. I think you'll see that here a little bit more coming up. They might be onto something with misdirection.
And this time straight up the gut, trying to pound away at the interior of that defensive line. Joel Hodgson gets another good gain, and it's going to leave Overton in 3rd down and 2 territory as time winds down in this first quarter of play, and we're probably not going to see another snap here in the first quarter. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Overton Eagles as they break the huddle with 2 seconds, and they're not going to snap it again. A scoreless first quarter at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. The D1 state championship moves to the second with Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton scoreless after 1.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
Programming is provided in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska.
These cost about $50. This costs about $57,000. Choosing to use these can help you avoid this. And since inactivity is a better predictor of death than smoking, high blood pressure, and even heart disease, using these more and this less could save you more than money. A message that's good to know from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska.
NET sports coverage of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybean.unl.edu. By Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska, the Blues are good for you. And by the Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, the site of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships tonight, Class D1, as Bancroft-Rosalie and Overton play on into the second quarter, scoreless after 1. Scoreless, very rare for these two teams offensively, but not defensively. They played good defense this year, but their offense is not used to being stymied by anybody.
Two defenses that don't give up a lot of points as we're back to live action here.
And up the middle it goes to Joel Hodgson on 3rd and 2, and he should have the first down to the 39-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Overton, and we go downstairs now to Larry Putney.
We're talking about that unconventional defense the Bancroft-Rosalie runs, and it's really the product of Ron Peck. Ron's been coaching, well, forever. Back in the 70s, he was actually the coach at Beamer. He won 2 state championships, was 42-2, decided, everybody's going to expect me to win a state championship every year. So he decided to move, went to Iowa, won 2 championships, actually 3 in Iowa, total of 5, and now he's back at 65, an assistant coach and having a blast doing it.
Yeah, he said his life these days, Larry, is coaching football, playing golf, and drinking coffee. Now that's the kind of retirement I'm looking forward to. Except for that coaching football stuff, that's way too much work.
That's a good way to put it.
I tell you, you saw 8 in the box just, and they didn't have one guy back deep. Guys playing pretty good assignment football here. They tried to come back with that counter look, seeing if they could catch him over pursuing here a little bit. Good sound defense by Bancroft.
Second down, ball just across the midfield stripe of the 39. Toss play to Hodgson. Hodgson looking for that first down marker. He's going to end up 3 yards shy down near the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for this Overton Eagles squad, trying to put together a pretty nice drive here as they're marching down the field after turning the Panthers away on 4th down.
Glenn Snodgrass, the head coach, signaling in the play.
Play that he hopes nets at least 3 yards. 3rd down and 3 from the 34-yard line. Hodgson on the short side toss. He's got the first down to the 30-yard line of Bancroft-Rosalie. And earlier today we talked with the head coach Glenn Snodgrass about his quarterback and a do-everything guy, Andrew McCarter.
Andy's just a great athlete. He's an explosive kid, you know, for his size. You know, he's almost 220 pounds. He's got a 36-inch vertical leap, and he's just the most explosive kid I've ever coached, you know, especially for his size. And he's a smart player. He can throw the ball well, and about midway through the season, we put him back at safety, and he's just excelled back there. He's had 5 interceptions in the last 7 games. So he's just, you know, this is his 3rd year starting. You know, he started the game we played here in Memorial Stadium 3 years ago, so he's not new to playing in here. But, yeah, he's just been an unbelievable kid to coach for 4 years, and he's been our leader for 4 years, and he's been a real good quarterback and a great defensive player for us too.
And as he speaks of his quarterback, McCarter unmolested into the end zone for the touchdown. 30 yards untouched on the option, and Overton is on the scoreboard first.
Boy, Overton sold the dive, and Bancroft-Rosalie bought it lock, stock, and barrel. Everybody collapsing in, and McCarter just tucks it and goes. And for a guy that, you know, does it all for this football team, that was relatively easy for him to make that play. And puts his team up by 6. Extra point coming up here.
First time today we've seen an extra point attempt, and the kick glances off the goalpost, and it is, let's see, no good. They finally decided on it after a long conference, and the kick is no good by Joel Hodgson, and so Overton's lead remains at 6. And now, after they looked at the replay, I don't know, it looked like it was good.
Looked good to me.
Let's see if we can tell on our replay here. Watch this kick. Now it's got to get obviously inside the bar.
Looking good. So yeah, that's good.
That's good.
That's good. It, not only that, it goes through the second set of goal.
It was good through both.
I'd say there's a one of those. What was it called? Double extra point.
Well, you see Glenn Snodgrass saying, "I just saw it on the replay. How do you miss that?" He is not happy, and he's got a good reason to beef.
Yeah, usually, Damon, those things come back to haunt later on the ball game. So
we'll see. I mean, they've been potent enough. We take a look at, and there it is. We talked about this earlier. It was the counter action, I think, that froze Bancroft, and they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. The little fake give with the fullback. The quarterback opens the opposite way, gives the linebackers a bad read, and next thing you know, he's off to the races. You could tell Coach Snodgrass felt he was onto something with that counter look.
Yeah, and everybody bought it. No doubt about it. They all bought it. Blake Reel had the outside responsibility for Bancroft-Rosalie, and he was caught inside, caught peeking inside, and cost the team.
And a line drive kickoff through the end zone, and the touchback will send Bancroft-Rosalie to the 15-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Panthers, trailing now 6-0. Be with us Saturday, November 25th for NCAA volleyball as the Nebraska Huskers host the Texas Longhorns, live from right there, the NU Coliseum. Nebraska suffered their first loss of the season last weekend in Colorado, but still the Huskers are ranked the #1 team in the country. Join us November 25th live at 7 Central Time right here on NET and NET HD, Nebraska's home for sports. 1st down and 10 from the 15. Gokin gets the toss, and Gokin goes nowhere. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit again. Brandon Cupp, Dane Rudine, all following the play, and it's 2nd down and 10.
And Brian Jeffries along with it. Excellent pursuit. Kevin, as we saw earlier on, you know, an offensive play sometimes will put great spark in your football team. An offensive play like that touchdown, and now this defense playing with a little renewed enthusiasm for the Overton Eagles.
2nd down and 10 from the 15. Novak the carry, and again Jeffries right there. Brian Jeffries, back-to-back plays. He comes up out of the pile with the football. The officials are going to say, I believe, down before the ball came out, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 for Bancroft-Rosalie.
So we'll see here. If you start to try to take a look at where the line of scrimmage is being established, that's a good yard deep on Bancroft's side of the ball, and that's never good when you're trying to move the ball on offense. Looks like right now, there's still a lot of game left, but right now Overton looking to assert their will here a little bit.
Yeah, they are. And they, boy, a lot of stuff happens in those piles, as you just saw right there. Brian Jeffries just playing a little thief, and their little larceny going on in the pile, and he stole that ball away, but play was dead.
And now the officials stopping play here. A timeout has been called, I believe, by Bancroft-Rosalie on 3rd down and 9 from the 16. Their first timeout utilized here in this first half, trailing 6-0 in the D1 State High School Football Championship. It's time now to test your Nebraska high school football knowledge with today's trivia question. The first correct email will win an NET Sports logo cap and an NET Sports Athletic gray t-shirt, like that one there, Kevin, size extra large. This Omaha high school athlete went on to receive a master's degree from Omaha University in 1961. Later, he was an assistant football coach and head wrestling coach at his alma mater, Omaha U. He was the first African-American to hold a head coaching job in a predominantly white university in the United States. His wrestling team brought the first ever collegiate national championship to the state of Nebraska in 1970. Who is this Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame winner? Email your answer to sports@netnebraska.org. The first correct answer wins the NET Sports logo cap and t-shirt. Show us your high school football knowledge. Send an email to sports@netnebraska.org. The winner will be announced later in the game, and no clues from anyone in the booth. Sorry, we're not allowed to provide clues.
That was a clue.
No, stop. We can't say any more. All right,
I won't say that was a clue.
It was not me. There's a clue. 3rd down and 9 for Bancroft-Rosalie. 9.5, because that ball's just barely across the 15-yard line. Pressure up the middle, lofting it over the middle, and it is caught at the 30-yard line, and down to the 32 goes Jace Gatzmeyer. A big play on 3rd and long for Bancroft-Rosalie, and they've got the first.
Tough job right here. First, Farewell throws it right in the face of all the pressure, and now I don't know how that ball got through there. You saw number 29 for Overton trying to make the play, Drew Carr, and somehow he misses it. Well, he had a great shot to pick that off.
Was that last night we were talking about one of the tougher things to do in sports is to make a play on the ball in the air?
You bet. You bet.
Saw a good example of that last couple minutes ago.
1st down and 10 from the 32. Reverse, it's dropped, ball loose on the turf, and it's recovered by the Overton Eagles. Picked up on the play, or covered on the play rather, by Brad Hanks, the defensive end, who swallows it up, and a Bancroft turnover puts Overton in great field position.
A well-conceived play here. Had a little inside, a little crease to the inside. Got to take care of the football in games like this. And neither coach talked about it in the pregame, which was a little bit interesting, but nobody brought up turnovers. But right now, they're rearing their ugly head here if you're a Bancroft fan.
And going for it all towards the end zone, the touchdown to Dane Rudine. The big play goes Overton's way as McCarter finds his favorite target, Dane Rudine, for 6.
You get that change of possession. Sometimes the dauber is down a little bit, especially a lot of guys are playing both ways here. Dauber down a little bit, so go for the big one right away. Did Overton, and they strike it, they make it, and go out to a 12-point lead here.
And Hodgson will come on and try the extra point attempt, and this time the kick is no good. An easy call for the officials this time, as that one missed wide left. So a couple of missed extra points, but a big play for the Overton Eagles as Andrew McCarter throws his 11th touchdown pass of the year.
Straight post shot right up the middle, and great concentration there. You could see it.
As Adrian talked about, it's sudden change. You always look, especially when the opponent's on their half of the 40 in this game, since it's an 80-yard field, after a turnover where a team's going to look to make the big play. And right now, if you're Overton, or excuse me, if you're Bancroft, the wheels are a little bit wobbly on your apple cart here. They've got to try to steady the ship here.
You bet. Pull it back together, no doubt about that, Damon, and see if they can put it together here with about 8 minutes left in the half. You get that football out there, guys, to people like Rudine, and he's 6'6" and 210 pounds, and he's he's got Division I size right there for a receiver, and he uses it to every advantage he can.
Time to kick it away on the kickoff for Overton, and with the 12-0 lead here in the second quarter. And the ball taken at the 8-yard line. Up the middle, Gokin shed one tackle. Gokin, though, driven back near the 23-yard line, and that's where Bancroft-Rosalie will start first down and 10. Monday night at 9:30 Central Time on NET1, American Masters follows funny man Bob Newhart's career over the past 50 years. From a shy accountant to Grammy winner, Newhart still performs today and is recognized for pushing the boundaries of sitcom. Find out how Bob Newhart became one of America's funniest comedians. Monday night at 9:30 Central on American Masters here on NET1. First down and 10. Short side toss to Novak. Novak sheds a tackle, and he's down across the 25-yard line. Pickup of a couple yards for Kyle Novak. Bancroft-Rosalie moved the ball well on their first drive, Damon, but boy, they have not been able to get much going since.
Yeah, it's been tough. They're trying to lick their wounds here, but most of them have been self-inflicted. And it starts with taking care of the football. There are plays to be made out here, but you can't do much without ball security. And again, you saw the ball trickle out late here again. The whistle had blown. But right now, if you're Coach Cherney, you're telling your guys right now in your pep talks, look, take care of the football and do what we do.
Second down and 8 from the 25-yard line. Up the middle with Novak again. Novak, good drive forward. He picked up 3 yards where it didn't look like there was any, out to the 28-yard line. And it'll leave Bancroft-Rosalie with a long 5 yards for a first.
Oh, that's just some terrific work inside by Brian Jeffries, defensive end on the left side for Overton. Tried to block him out, but he beat the block to the inside and just stopped that play immediately before it had a chance to gain some momentum. Creates a long third down here, 3rd and 5.
7 minutes remaining in this first half. Overton 12, Bancroft-Rosalie nothing. Novak, the lone setback behind Jacob Farewell. Farewell to throw, lobs it out, and a great reaching grab made by Devin Niewarner. Reaching around what looked like a sure interception, and Niewarner's got a first down.
I tell you, Farewell dodges another bullet here. He's looking for old reliable Niewarner here on the corner route. A ball he probably shouldn't throw, but his playmaker did just what he asked him to do, make a play. Or was that Turner on the catch?
Trevor Bryan is the guy who was in front of Niewarner and was able to almost get the interception.
Yeah, almost, but again, Niewarner at 6'3" and a great vertical jump, able to go right up over the top and pick it off from above.
From the 35, first down and 10, option play, Farewell. And Farewell down at the 39-yard line, and he may have been pulled down by the face mask as a flag dropped down right as the tackle was happening on Jacob Farewell.
I tell you, Bancroft could use a break right here. Give their team a little bit of momentum as the pendulum has definitely swung to Overton's side.
And we'll see it's a face mask, not the personal foul variety. And we'll see it here at the end of this run. Watch the face mask of Farewell. Right there.
Right there, just
Trevor Bryan again.
Wasn't a whole lot, but it's just enough to qualify, and it'll count, and they'll move the ball and automatic first.
Nope, no first down.
No first down.
It'll be first down and a yard. After the play, they get the down over and the yardage on the play. So it's first and a yard now for Bancroft-Rosalie. So 4 cracks to get a yard here and another set of downs. Movement up front. No flags fly, and a huge hit on Gokin as he sweeps over the 35-yard line and should have a first down. But boy, he'll pay for that one. Joel Hodgson, what a stick.
Talk a little bit about Bancroft's unorthodox defense. You saw a little bit of a different look here offensively as they went to an unbalanced line. Impressive on Overton's part to make the adjustment on the fly, even though they weren't lined up correctly before the snap of the ball. Good job of hustling to shut that play down for minimum yards when they were outflanked.
You know, that was an unusual circumstance there. They had first down on the marker, first down on the board, first down and 1 to go on that last play, and now it's first down at 10 after picking up the first down that was first down. Strange stuff.
On the option, Farewell across the 30 and down near the 29. The ball is out at the bottom of that pile. Did they turn it over again? Bancroft-Rosalie's already lost 2 fumbles tonight.
Still fighting underneath there. The referee down there is Tom Hendricks. He's trying to sort it all out quickly and stop the motion.
Going to need a pair of pliers to get that ball out of there, and it belongs to Bancroft-Rosalie. And fortunately for the Panthers, Cameron Brumman, the center, was able to get on top of that football.
See it again here and see what happened on the play. Trying to sneak up inside. There, the ball definitely is out.
Just loose with the football. We talked earlier off camera a little bit about which coach their personality would reflect more on their team. Overton's coach, Snodgrass, his back barely touched his seat, very on edge, and Coach Cherney very relaxed. We'll see just how calm his team is.
2nd and 5 from the 30. Option again. Farewell on the keep. Fumble again, and it's scooped up by Overton. McCarter ripped it as Farewell ran by, and the second rip and recovery for Andrew McCarter tonight. 4th fumble of the night for Bancroft, and the 3rd lost.
Well, you got to credit this Overton bunch. They hit well, and then when they have the opportunity, they're trying to rip the ball free. And it's the 2nd time now for Andy McCarter ripping the ball loose. So ball hawking at its best. You see it right there. Number 6 pulls it free and then recovers it.
That was an accident waiting to happen. That play should have been cut up initially. He had a nice crease right up the hash. He chose to try to string it out and let the pursuit angle catch up to him. And great play, Johnny on the spot, McCarter.
McCarter's 3rd fumble recovery on the year.
He's done it all tonight. Flags fly here, though, on 1st and 10 from the 34. And this looks like it's going to cost 5 yards, and it will for Overton.
Guys, you know, this drive will be key. Right now, Bancroft has suffered some blows to the body here. They're wobbling a little bit. We'll see if Overton tries to go ahead and deliver the knockout shot.
So 1st and 15 here, or 1st and 5 here, rather, after the penalty marked off against Bancroft-Rosalie. That's where they initially marked it, and now they're going to mark it the other way. So it was against Overton. Bancroft-Rosalie said, wait a minute here. And now it'll go back inside the 30. It'll be 1st down and 15 from the 29. 12-0 Overton with the lead. Hodgson looking for running room. He's found some. Ball pops loose at the end of the run, and they're going to say he was down on the turf at the 37-yard line, just a yard shy of the 1st down. 14-yard run by Joel Hodgson.
He was indeed down. You'll see it here as that knee will touch ground. But when the knee touches ground, the play's dead. There is no fumble, as you saw it right there. The knee touched ground first, and then the fumble came out.
2nd down and a yard. Hodgson with the carry again. Had a hole. Hodgson down at the 30-yard line. Good tackle by Devin Niewarner. He was the last man out there for Bancroft-Rosalie. Well, earlier today, we chatted with the head coach, John Cerny, of Bancroft-Rosalie, about this Overton squad.
Their size and their experience. They average 20 yards or 20 pounds more on the line per guy on offensive and defensive lines, and they've been down here. You know, those freshmen, the seniors this year were freshmen and sophomores the last 2 years they played. So this isn't a new experience for them, and it will be for our guys. And how well we handle that and how well we're able to play in the line, I think, is going to be an important part of this game.
Good play in the line there by Jeremy Anderson on 1st down and 10 from the 30. It's 2nd and 10 from the 30. Anderson, no gain on the play thanks to that tackle from that man right there.
So far, 112 yards gained on the ground by Overton, taking control of the rushing game.
2nd down and 10. No control there again. Blake Reel into the backfield. And a pretty good job just spinning back towards the line by Carr. A minimal loss on the play. It'll be 3rd and 10.
As we take a look at the replay here, excuse me, Adrian.
That's all right.
They're getting great play from the nose, even though that Overton's been able to churn out some yards with their 2 stars, McCarter and Hodgson. Bancroft's nose guard has played extremely well.
Trying the sweep with Rudine, and another good open field tackle. That's 3 in a row for this Panther defense. TJ Luchin that time with the tackle. And their backs were against the wall on this drive, and they've come up with 3 very good defensive plays in a row.
Luchin, a good move right here. See him just waiting there, works off the block. I beg your pardon, that wasn't Luchin. That's Luchin right there, number 40, coming up and making a very athletic play.
And McCarter will drop back into punt formation, try to pin Bancroft-Rosalie deep. The punt, though, will bound over the goal line and into the end zone. And a touchback to the 15-yard line for Bancroft-Rosalie. Well, coming up at halftime, our chance to chat with Tom Millsap, Assistant Director of the NSAA, talk a little bit about the football playoffs and these finals that have started here today at Memorial Stadium. Plus, we'll have first half highlights and stats from this D1 state championship. That's coming up at halftime.
Some impressive resiliency shown by Bancroft. They had a chance to maybe pack it in here early a little bit here in the first half, and they've responded. Now they've just got to put together something on offense where they establish a little bit of ball security.
Ball security and a good drive right here, David, would do a lot to soothe their ills here in this first half. They can get to generate some momentum, perhaps put one in the end zone. They're right back in the football game, not only physically but mentally back in the game.
First down from the 15. Here's Gokin on the toss. He's been quiet so far tonight. Gokin, a couple of yards there, wrapped up by Andrew McCarter. And boy, has he been everywhere on the field for the Overton Eagles. If you'd like to get yourself a DVD of this game or any of our state high school football or volleyball championships, log on to netnebraska.org and click on Shop NET or call 1-800-868-1868. It's a memory that will last for years to come. NET is Nebraska's home for sports.
I tell you, hit the nail on the head when you said Gokin had yet to get it going. In a game like this, at this caliber, usually your good players have to play well. Overton, conversely, their two stars are playing well right now with Hodgson and McCarter, and Gokin still trying to get it going here for Bancroft.
And you wonder how much that shoulder injury is really affecting him as he gets the carry again up the middle. That's a tough couple of yards on 2nd and 7. Gokin just across the 20-yard line, and it'll bring up third down, 4.5 yards for the first for this Panther squad. As we chatted earlier today with Dr. John Cerny, the head coach of Bancroft-Rosalie, on his running back, Chase Gokin.
Chase is our quick back. He's a halfback in our offense, and we like to try to get him around the outside on people. He's kind of small, so he doesn't run with a lot of power, but if we can get him the ball outside, he's got a chance to go.
Tonight, 7 carries, 19 yards. Farewell on the keep, and Farewell's got the first down to the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Bancroft-Rosalie. Nice read on the option by Jacob Farewell.
You bet it was, and a good fake to Gokin on misdirection. Held everybody just for a step, gave his line some time on that left side to open up a nice wide hole over there and pick up that first down. And they've got a minute 48 here and counting to get it done, and they've got a good start on that drive as we see.
At the 30-yard line, 1st down and 10. Option pitch, trying to get to the corner, nothing doing. Gokin not going to get there because guess who? Andrew McCarter. You talk about speed side to side on this football field. Andrew McCarter's got it in spades.
And pretty much since this game started, as we take a look at this replay, McCarter has been able to play downhill, whether he's playing quarterback or he's playing safety. This guy has been all over the field. And he does what all good football players do when they're out here, Adrian, and that's dictate. He's not allowing the game to be dictated to him. He's the one doing the dictating.
There he is right there. No eye black, just a nose for the football. And he has really played very, very well here in the first half.
1:32 remaining in the first half. Bancroft-Rosalie facing a 2nd and 10 from their 30-yard line. Toss play again, trying to get to the outside is Novak, and Novak not going to get there. He'll lose yardage on the play. Pretty good effort by Novak. He got back near the initial line of scrimmage, bouncing off 3 or 4 tacklers before finally being nudged out of bounds and will not lose any yardage. 3rd and 10.
And one of those who led the play you'll see here is Joel Hodgson, number 10. Working off the block right there and just slowed the ball carrier down just enough to get a couple, 3 more blue shirts. But, Novak just keeps going at 5'7" and 185 pounds, built low to the ground and tough to take down.
Talked about those wide splits that Overton's showing with those defensive ends. I think a lot of that has to do with McCarter playing that weak side linebacker spot. Even though there's a natural bubble there, the number 6 is there to pop it. I think Coach Snodgrass is willing to take his chances.
And a timeout has to be used by Jacob Farewell. By the time they got to the line, the play clock was down to 1. And so the second timeout utilized by Bancroft-Rosalie here to save the down and the distance. It's 3rd down and 10, and only 1 timeout left for Dr. John Cerny and this Bancroft-Rosalie squad. Looking for their first points of the night. A long way to go, though. Just 88 yards total offense for Bancroft. Overton 137 yards here in this first half. For more than 50 years, NET has been part of this state's history, bringing local news from across the state, documentaries that affect Nebraskans, and statewide coverage of high school and collegiate sports. Help us continue the quality of local programming on NET television. With your support, we'll continue to enrich the lives of all Nebraskans. Visit netnebraska.org or call 1-800-634-6788. 3rd down and 10, 1:24 remaining in this first half. And now the Panthers of Bancroft-Rosalie is trying to get something going. A frustrating first half, I'm sure, Abe, for this Panther squad.
You bet, Kevin. They're used to having their way on offense. They've scored 55 points on average on the year. And again, they're being shut out here in this first half. So they're trying to make it up here. Got 1:24 to try to do something with the football as they break this huddle here.
3rd down and 10 from the 30. And the give up the middle to Novak, and Novak very close to a first down for Bancroft-Rosalie. They may have to bring the sticks in for this one, as they are awfully close to a first down. Oh, what a run up the middle for the fullback, and here come the chains.
That wide split 6 look where both those ends are playing what we call a 6 technique. There's a natural bubble right over that guard area and a little wrinkle. I like what Coach Cerny just did right now. He ran to the short side. He ran to the side of only one lineman, and he got McCarter lined up on the other side because McCarter was playing to the strength. So little cat and mouse game going on right now as we take a look at this replay. There's only one guard to this side of the field, and number 6 is on the other side. So as you see him just sneak into the picture there, a little strategy going on, and it's fun to watch from this vantage point.
Good charge up front by the center right there. That's Cameron Drummond and Evan Weberg on the right side that last play. And then a little help from the back on the wing. Able to make it go.
1st down and 10 from midfield. Farewell on the option keep. Took it up the hash this time. And he picks up 4 yards into Overton territory at the 36-yard line. Clock running. 1:06 to play first half.
One thing that Bancroft-Rosalie needs to do is speed it up right now. They're taking too much time after the play. And that whistle blows. You got to speed it up. The clock's still moving. You got to move into the huddle and get that play called and get going. But taking just a little bit too much of a blow between plays here.
Yeah, they're burning a lot of clock on this one.
Way too much.
2nd down and 6. The ball at the 36-yard line. Gokin split out wide to the right. Play fake, looking that direction for Gokin down the sidelines. Has the catch and out of bounds at the Overton 11-yard line.
Maybe that's why they weren't in a hurry, guys. They knew that eventually the guy that has been quiet all day would eventually be heard, and there he is with Gokin making the catch here along the sidelines.
Gokin, not many catches on the year. He came into the ball game with 4 for 86. They had a touchdown and makes this one count. Just a straight go route down the sideline, beat everybody to the mark, and gives his team a chance here. That's what we were talking about. Get that ball down the field and get that ball in the zone. Give your team the chance to get yourself right back into the ball game.
1st down and 10 from the Overton 11-yard line. Novak up the middle, fumbles the football again at the 5-yard line. Novak coughs it up. Does he come up with it? He does at the 5-yard line. It's the 5th fumble of the first half for Bancroft-Rosalie. They've lost 3 of them.
Is either Novak or Clint Saul that comes up with it there. Let's take a look. The ball free right there. And Saul's 21, and he's the guy that comes over. Great shot. That's great camera work by our bunch.
That is beautiful. They were right on it.
Saul was very opportune for Bancroft-Rosalie.
8 seconds remaining. Farewell lobbing it towards the back corner of the end zone, and it's incomplete. The clock stopping with 4 seconds to go in the first half. And now perhaps one more play for Bancroft-Rosalie here. Down 12-0, and how frustrating would it be for this Panther team if they go all the way down the field late and come up empty-handed?
That might be just with the reverse, Damon, of what we've been talking about in terms of the mental effect if they don't get something out of this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if they don't end up getting any points, he's going to have to build on it just the other way at halftime and say, hey, look, guys, we've turned the ball over, and we were able to move it.
Farewell pumps, throws towards the end zone, tipped, and it is incomplete. But time has run out on the Panthers in this first half, so a late drive eats up 60 yards over 11 plays, but it nets the Panthers no points. And at halftime of the D1 state championship, It's Overton 12 and Bancroft-Rosalie nothing, and Larry Putney's down on the field with the head coach of Overton, Glenn Snodgrass.
Well, between the two teams, you average about 100 points per game. I was stunned that it was scoreless in the first quarter, but you finally started to get things going.
Yeah, our power game finally got going. Our option game caused them to get out of their six front, and when they got out of their six front, we knew our power sweep game would work, and it did.
How big was that stop right there?
Oh, that was huge going into halftime. It's a good lift for our boys.
Talk about McCarter. He's caused 3 fumbles in the first half, caused him to recover 2 of them.
Andy's been making those plays all year. Doesn't surprise me a bit. He's a playmaker, and he gets out and gets it done.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Glenn Snodgrass and his Overton Eagles in the D1 state championship. They've been runners-up twice over the last 3 years. They're looking for a championship. Halfway home, leading 12-0 at the break.
Some people tell me it's just a game, but it's more than that, at least to me. It's years of playing catch with my dad and friends in the backyard. It's a drawer full of jerseys and a lifetime of loving the game.
The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates every player and coach who plays the game safely, with spirit, integrity, and pride. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
Programming is provided in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska.
Escalator or stairs? It may seem like an easy choice, but the hard truth is the illness and disease that result from inactivity cost about $76 billion a year to treat. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska, we believe that cost is much too high, and not just in terms of money. So when it comes to keeping you healthy and keeping healthcare affordable, walking works. Your health, your choice.
On nature. Yellowstone in winter. A breathtaking world in white. Enter a winter wilderness and experience the magic that is Christmas in Yellowstone.
Sunday night at 7 Central Time on NET1.
NET sports coverage of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. And by Time Warner Cable, proud to provide the 2006 NSAA State Volleyball Championships through Nebraska On Demand, available on Channel 101. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, the home for the 2006 High School State Football Championships in Overton with a 12-0 lead in the D1 State Championship here at halftime. During halftime of the State Football Championships, we get the chance to catch up on how sports are doing across the state in the Nebraska School Activities Association. Tom Millsap, Associate Director with the NSAA, joining us now, the longtime Athletic Director for the Bulldogs of North Platte High School, moving into a new role this year. Are you enjoying your time kind of away from the school districts and into the administration side?
Yes, I enjoyed my years in North Platte, obviously, but I was ready for a change in my life, and this has been a good move for me.
Well, speaking of changes, let's talk about some of the changes in football this year. One of the big changes for folks who are used to playoffs being on different days, they had weekend football all through the state playoffs. How did it work out?
Yes, the Class A schools wanted to go start their season a week earlier and then go to all Fridays, and I have not heard one complaint. I think they felt that this time of the year their players needed some extra rest, and it's worked out very well.
Some of the other playoff changes for 2006 we saw in the Class C and the Class D schools. Talk a little bit about what you guys did in C and D to make playoffs different this year.
Okay, in the past we've kind of grouped them in 8s around the state and tried to keep everything in that area. This year we took the 18 schools to the farthest west and put them in one bracket, and took the 16 schools farthest east and put them in the bracket. The first round, we had pretty much close proximity games. In the quarterfinals and in the semifinals, we had some teams that had to travel quite a bit. But once again, we've had very few complaints, and I think it's worked out pretty well.
I would imagine when you make moves like that, you're looking for a variety of things, fairness in competition, fairness in travel, and trying to balance that out. How do you balance that out to make sure that one team's not traveling an inordinate amount more than another team during the playoffs?
Well, we have basically 3 sets of rules. If both teams played at home the previous game, then the team with the highest point average is going to get the next home game. If both teams played on the road, then once again the team with the highest seed will get the next home game. And if you had a situation where one was on the road and one was on the at home, then the team that was on the road will get the next home game. So, you know, and it still works out once in a while that a team will have 3 straight home games, but that's just the way the cards fall.
Tom Millsap is with us, NSAA Assistant Director, as you talk about changes in the high school football playoffs leading up to these finals this weekend here at Memorial Stadium. When you make these changes, how does that process occur? Is that strictly NSAA? Do you go out and seek out advice from the schools throughout the state? How do you go about making these kind of changes?
Basically, the schools come up with them. Like, for instance, the Class A coaches really 2 years ago started talking about this Friday night situation, and it went through our legislative process, and they decided and voted on unanimously, I believe, that they want to play on Friday night. So we basically, it's a legislative process. We want to do what the schools want to do as much as possible because it's their state tournaments, and we want to be fair as we can.
And having been an athletic director for many years yourself in a Class A school, I would imagine it gives you a little bit of an advantage. You have some of the indications as to some of the issues that some of the schools have had over the years.
Yeah, and I think living out where North Platte is, you know, first of all, our kids in North Platte always grew up used to traveling. So, you know, when I've always had a joke, you know, that a lot of the state thinks that the state ends here at 9th Street in Lincoln. So I think I have a feel for the western part of the state and the central part of the state, so I'm always going to have an interest in that.
Tom Millsap, not only assistant director of the NSAA, but also an old fraternity brother of our partner Adrian Fiala in the booth. Any good stories for us about Aid?
Well, I could tell you a lot of good stories about Adrian, but we're live here, and we'll probably have to hold those for another time.
That's probably a good idea. Hey, Tom, welcome to the NSAA. It's great to have you with us, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Tom Millsap, assistant director of the Nebraska School Activities Association. We're at halftime of the D1 State Championship. Overton 12, Bancroft-Rosalie nothing.
Programming on NET television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
The American dream may be a much overplayed symbol, but nonetheless a very important guiding light for so many new immigrants to this country. And the Craigs are a prime example.
They were entrepreneurial giants in the history of Omaha, in the history of Nebraska, in the history of the West.
NET Television presents the story of the Creightons, a family that was determined to change the country and put Omaha on the map.
Coming in December to NET1.
We're at halftime of the Class D1 State High School Football Championships. Overton with the lead over Bancroft-Rosalie 12-0 alongside Adrian Fiala, Damon Benning, and Larry Putney. I'm Kevin Kugler. Great to have you with us this evening from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Let's take a look at the highlights of this first half action in the Class D1 championships. It was a defensive struggle in this first quarter, Aid, as going to the air for Bancroft-Rosalie. Jacob Farewell has it tipped and intercepted, but a pass interference. There's the defensive surge for Bancroft-Rosalie, and then a terrific run on the option by McCarter.
You bet. McCarter using that great speed we talked about earlier on. McCarter will run about 4.6. He sold that option play to the inside. Here we see the extra point that was good, but ruled no good, and created a little controversy there. Now the long touchdown pass play. You saw number 44 there, Dane Rudine, at his 6'6" frame, making that touchdown pass. As we continue to see McCarter now ripped it out. Second time he'd ripped out the football for a fumble. This is Kyle Novak just blasting his way upfield.
The story of this game, though, has been big plays. Gokin trying to get them, Bancroft-Rosalie, into scoring position, but the final play of the half tipped and dropped. No touchdown for Bancroft-Rosalie. And the bigger story has been turnovers. You see the fumble statistic right there. If we had the little marker, we'd circle that in red on this screen. 5 fumbles, 3 lost for Bancroft-Rosalie. And Damon, that's been the whole story of this first half.
Absolutely. And when you take a look at the total yards and time of possession, you wonder how this game is 12-0. And then you look at the very next line and you see just, in fact, why it is 12-0. If Bancroft decides that they want to take care of the football in the second half, we could have a ball game here.
Well, after 5 fumbles, 3 of them lost. Bancroft-Rosalie a little fortunate to only be down 12-0 at halftime. And that's our score at halftime. It's the D1 State High School Football Championships. Overton 12, Bancroft-Rosalie nothing.
Men's basketball returns to NET2 this Saturday as the Huskers tip off against the Creighton Blue Jays. Live coverage begins at 7 Central Time. Don't miss the action this Saturday night. It's only on NET2.
Hi, I'm Ken Burns. Public television has made a difference in my life for as long as I can remember. It's been the place, the best place, to celebrate the stories that unite.
She was a literary phenomenon.
Willa Cather.
Next time on American Masters, experience the life and works of writer Willa Cather.
My Antonia. O pioneers, death comes for the Archbishop.
It's Willa Cather. She wanted to be as big as the big guys.
Good Housekeeping magazine named her one of the 12 greatest women in America.
Look for Willa Cather, The Road Is All, on American Masters.
Coming in December to NET1.
Save this Sunday for the dazzling and the deadly.
Curtis is armed and dangerous.
For the remote and the relentless.
It's my last case. I have to find the killer of this girl.
Save this Sunday for Nature and Masterpiece Theater.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, the Class D1 State Championship. The Overton Eagles leading it at the half, 12-0 over Bancroft-Rosalie. Well, as many of you may know, NET's own Kevin Kugler became the national voice of Westwood One college football this year.
Inside the coach Terry Bowden, I'm Kevin Kugler today from Lincoln, Nebraska's Memorial Stadium. Texas with a 3-0 lead very early here, 13:02 remaining in this first quarter.
Now, Kevin travels the nation each weekend doing some of the top games in the country with former college coach Terry Bowden. Kevin called the Texas-Ohio State game, LSU, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, and on this weekend he was doing Nebraska, Texas. You know, for a kid who grew up in Lincoln as a huge Husker fan, this must be a dream job. But, you know, my question that I had to ask was, why Kevin?
Why not? That's what I kept coming back to. I listened to a lot of tapes across the country, some people with a lot more experience than Kevin, some people with less experience than Kevin, and every time I kept coming back to his tape and saying, why not Kevin?
Reese Purify is going to go all the way for a touchdown. 64 yards. Maurice Purify scores, and Nebraska takes the lead.
Oh my goodness, they put 3 receivers to the right, Purify to the left by himself.
Everything we heard, other than 70,000 screaming people behind him on the games that he provided for us, was better than anybody else that was in our stable and anybody that sent us a tape.
He's a natural, got great instincts, got great timing, and he makes you look good. We communicate well together, and he just has a way of making you look good. I'm very, very pleased with how polished he is and how professional he is.
Nebraska's Zach Taylor leads the offense out onto the field for the Huskers at the 35-yard line. They'll set up on the far side hash, moving it left to right here as we see it.
For me, who have been in this business for a while and have been with a lot of people, he's fun to be with. Got an enjoyable personality, and that's maybe most important through a whole season.
You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
I think Terry Bowden said, what did he say? A good person? I don't know. I'm not sure he's talking about the same guy. But guys, it is. I'll tell you this: for a guy who coming out of college, we all looked at and knew he was an up-and-comer in the state of Nebraska. It's great to see Kevin really an up-and-comer nationally.
That's not what you said.
Indeed,
you're right. That's not what you said at the time.
Indeed, it is, Larry. And I tell you, Kevin, you're going to need to take some of those frequent flyer miles and get yourself a heater.
Yeah,
for the booth up there. So,
it's not a warm day.
Not a warm day, but wow. Tell the folks just a little bit some of the games you've done and the travels you've had and what your schedule is on a weekend.
Well, we've been around the country. We've done Ohio State, Texas this year. We've done Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Florida. We've been all over the place. And my weekend schedule is I leave on Fridays, do the game on Saturdays, and come back on Sunday mornings. Wave occasionally to my family, and then get the whole week started once again. But it's been a great fun. It's for a huge college football fan like me, the chance to travel to some of the greatest venues in college football. Of course, Nebraska's right up there, but you've got Tennessee, you've got Florida. I mean, these are all just tremendous places to go. Yeah. So I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have the chance to do this.
Outstanding stuff, and well done, my friend.
Well, let's go back down on the field. Larry Putney with a much more serious conversation with the head coach of Bancroft-Rosalie.
Well, Coach, to talk a little bit about how disappointing it was to not get in at the end of the half.
Well, we didn't use our clock management very well. Our guys kind of got lazy coming up to the line, and I was kind of thinking we might have about 10 seconds left when we snapped the ball instead of 4. So we were hoping to get another playoff in there. But yeah, we moved the ball down there. It would have been really nice to get that score in.
I think you've put the ball on the turf at least 4 times, and you look up the scoreboard. At some point, you must think, geez, we're only down 12-0, having given them that many breaks.
That's exactly the first thing I said when we went in. Guys, we lost 3 fumbles, and we're only down 12 points. I said that, we got to protect the ball, and we just got to play better the second half.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, and interesting comments from Coach Cerny, and a little bit of optimism from Coach as they get set for this second half. Only down 12-0, but have to play, obviously, a much cleaner second half if they want to come back on this Overton squad.
Well, they lost 3, but they fumbled 5 times, and that just kills drives, it kills effort, it kills your mind sometimes. So they've got to, David, come up with better ball security here in the second half. It's a good point to make. You're just down 12-0. There's still very much in this football game, but if they keep rolling the ball around on the turf, that just doesn't bode well for them at all.
What I'm interested in seeing is, as we talked to Coach Snodgrass off camera pregame about how his team would respond if this thing got tight heading into the fourth quarter from a mental standpoint, and he was extremely optimistic that his team would respond well. I'm curious to see if Bancroft can get back in this thing maybe within a score and take this thing down to the wire, how a team that's not used to playing in tight ball games responds to being in a tight ball game.
Second half kickoff is next in the Class D1 state championship on NET Sports. Second half about to begin. It'll be Overton with the football first, and a 12-0 lead as we start this third quarter of play. A even statistical first half, as you saw, but on the scoreboard it's Overton with that 12-point lead. Niewarner will kick it off. It's a squib kick picked up by Drew Carr at the 15. Carr to the 25, to the 30, and Carr goes out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and good field position for Overton to start their first possession of this second half.
So far, Coach Cerny's greatest fear only had to come to fruition once. Only one kickoff thus far, and that's to start this second half.
He'd like to see a few more, because that'd mean they were on the board. First down and 10 for the Overton Eagles on the 32-yard line. Little shift in the backfield, and the give is to Hodgson, and Hodgson breaks free for the moment. and is wrapped up by Niewarner after a good first down gain out near the 40-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 38-yard line, a pickup of 6.
A little new look here to start the second half as Overton goes to an I-back set and then a little motion to the right-hand side, and they run power that way. So a little change of pace for that offense. See it again right here.
Second down 4, same shift, same give, and not quite the same result. Out to midfield, a 2-yard pickup. A little better defended that time by Overton.
One of the things I've been impressed with thus far is the tackling by both teams. Not only Overton's aggressiveness and stripping the football, but Bancroft making some very sure tackles in the open field, which is what you have to have with all this space and only 8 players.
3rd down and 2. Toss play this time to Hodgson, and Hodgson going to be stacked up a yard short of the first down at the 39-yard line of Bancroft-Rosalie. It'll be 4th and 1 now for Overton on the opening drive of this 3rd quarter.
Panthers looking for that play. It's short, maybe about 10 inches or so. Here's the play. It'll just be a dive play. The whistle was blown though.
Flag is down. They tried to hurry up, and I think they hurried a little too much. A 5-yard penalty. So instead of 4th and inches, it's 4th and 5 inches now.
That's not going to register as a turnover in the books, but that is, to a coach, that is just like a turnover. When you have a chance to keep possession of the football and you're no longer allowed to because of a mistake, it counts just the same as a turnover.
Same deal, same effect. Again, not shown, but same effect as.
Oh, just a little flinch.
Just a little bit. Wow.
Difficult to see that. Now the punt team comes on. So Bancroft-Rosalie gets a break to start things off with the penalty, and now flags fly again. And another penalty up front, and it's going to be another 5 yards against Overton. So for Glenn Snodgrass,
not happy.
Things falling apart right now for the moment. Back-to-back false starts.
Coach Snodgrass, you can see it in his eyes right there. Not happy with the situation at all as Overton backs it up 5, and they'll try it again.
4th down now and 11. And flags again, or a stop? No, they did not. They need to reset the clock. No flag.
Thought they hit the trifecta.
Boy, you do that, bring out a new 8.
Andy McCarter back there trying to put it all together.
This time no false start. Almost a block, fumble, and scooped up on the punt return, and nothing doing by Jace Gatzmeyer. Nowhere to go. And that's an ominous start if you're a fan of Bancroft-Rosalie after the fumble problems in the first half. Muffed on the return, but able to be recovered, and a 1st down. Be with NET Sports. All the games of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships tomorrow. It's Blue Hill and Wakefield tomorrow morning when the Class C2 final kicks off at 10:30 Central. Tomorrow night, big one between Omaha Westside and Kearney in Class A. Much anticipated matchup in C1 between Auburn and Valentine. And we close out our coverage on Saturday night at 7 Central, Crete and Elkhorn. All the games are on NET and NET HD, Nebraska's home for sports.
You know, this last play, very close to being blocked. You see it right here is McCarter ready to let her go. And now watch what happens afterwards. He gets hit. Now, I have never seen a punter not go down in that situation right there. McCarter just didn't have his best Academy Award act ready to go.
He's just too tough.
You don't often see where the punter's your biggest guy in the field either.
Right up the gut, Kyle Novak into the secondary, and Novak with a huge gain on 1st down from the 19 to the 36-yard line. A 17-yard pickup for the fullback, Kyle Novak.
But against Meade in the playoffs, and you'll see it right there. And there's a huge block up front by Evan Weberg. And Novak just continues to struggle on up the field, pulling people with him. Again, as we said earlier, he's just 5'7", 185, but man, does he run tough and run hard.
Single wide, split wide to the left side. The give is to Novak right up the gut, and he takes it from the 36 to the 38.5-yard line, picks up 2.5 on 1st down.
I was going to say about Novak, Kevin, against Meade in the playoffs. He had 186 yards, 3 touchdowns in that ballgame. And then against Clarkson, 174 yards in that ballgame on 33 attempts. So he is just Mr. Durable. And he can lug the pig, as we say.
Second down and 8 from the 38-yard line. Fumble on the option. And another fumble by Bancroft-Rosalie. It is recovered by the Panthers. It'll be third down, the 6th fumble of the night for Bancroft-Rosalie.
So take a look at the replay here. It looks like a little miscommunication here on the exchange. Novak thinking it's going to be a give, and not so much there. You see a team like Miller North in Class A, they do that high handoff where it's almost at the chest level because it's almost impossible for the fullback to take the ball from the quarterback. He either has to give it to him or not.
And a false start is going to cost the Panthers 5 on 3rd and 8 from the 38. Make it third down and 13 back near the 33-yard line. And after that big run by Novak, Bancroft-Rosalie going in the wrong direction here.
Be interesting to see how quick that Bancroft can get the ball to their playmakers. These guys have been inconspicuous by their absence, and they've got to find a way to touch the football here if they want to get back in this football game. Time is going to be of the essence here when you're a team that is that 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They're going to have to find a way to get some chunk yardage here.
Third down and 13 from the 33. Straight drop. Farewell setting up a little inside screen to Gatzmeyer. Gatzmeyer slips one tackle, but he cannot get away from Joel Hodgson. He took it near the 37-yard line, well shy of what was needed. Only a 4-yard pickup out of all that, and Hodgson made sure it didn't go any further.
Try to get the football out there in the open, get it into the spaces we talk about, and it gets out into space, but that space closes down. Rodine had the first shot, kind of slowed him down there initially. Number 44, Dane Rodine, creates this 4th down kick.
Looked like that play was going to be open, didn't it, for a second?
And a fake punt, and it is going to be a first down. Chase Gokin struggles forward and gets the first down. A fake punt on 4th and 9. And we'll see where they spot it. It should be a first, and it is a first down.
Yeah, the linesman signaled it there right quick. Hey, take a look right here. Gokin's, well, check it out here. It looks like number 11, Gokin, is going to make that catch and gives his team new life here, guys. 32-yard line.
First down and 10 from the 32. On the option, Farewell. Good gainer on the option keep as he takes it from the 32. Down near the 27-yard line. 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 5. As Bancroft-Rosalie trying to take advantage of that fake punt and move it down for their first points of the day.
I don't have doctor in front of my first or last name like Coach Cerny, but I would think that I would come up with a way to find Gokin out there in space with the football if I could. He's a guy that has shown that he's capable of making big plays, and they've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands in space.
Would have been odd to have Damon Benning Doctor be your name.
Oh, you know, there's 2 doctors in our family, and neither one of them belong to me.
2nd down and 5. Farewell swings it out of the backfield. Jeremy Anderson fumbles the football. It pops out, and did they get it before it went out of bounds?
Yes.
I believe they did. And if they did, it's number 7 on the fumble, number 4 on the recovery.
We can't get a signal.
No one has signaled. It will belong to Bancroft-Rosalie. It must have gone out of bounds, and it'll belong to them on 3rd down. Nobody ever signaled.
Well, sometimes, Kevin, they just leave the discretion to us. And here it is again, as you see Farewell going to float it out there. And all right, look who ripped it out again. McCarter ripped it out one more time. Look at this. Watch McCarter here. Number 6 going to rip right there.
Now, did he recover inbounds? No, I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
Short side run as sweeping is Gokin to the outside, and Gokin's going to end up 2 yards shy of the first. He needed the 22. He gets the 24-yard line. It'll be 4th and 2, and there's Gokin. You can see that shoulder, the left one, a little bit bigger than the right one. That one's the one he injured.
Looks to almost be grimacing, doesn't he, guys? He's kind of letting it hang a little limp there, and an obvious
strained it last week. It did not practice at all leading up to this game.
Big play right here, 4th down and 2. They need this.
Oh, a huge play. Novak, the lone setback. Farewell going to throw, fires it out, caught, and a first down. Devin Niewarner with the first, and a good catch because he was well covered. Had a man right on him in Trevor Bryan, but it's a 1st and 10.
That was the point, Kevin. The coverage was there, and he was able to latch onto that football. Trevor Bryan probably couldn't do it much better.
They spoke very highly of him in the pregame. You'd think that he'd be more involved here. And right here, you know, 4th and 2, they go to their money, and that's Niewarner, excuse me.
And Niewarner has the first to the 17 of Overton. This will be the 10th play of this drive. Down at the 17-yard line. 1st down and 10. A little misdirection with Gokin, but it does not fool this Overton Eagle defense. Nobody moved. Trevor Bryan, who was on coverage on that last pass play, makes a nice tackle, throwing Gokin for a 2-yard loss.
Boy, Trevor Bryan's been quietly, he's been everywhere tonight. You'd think there's more than a couple of 22s out there, but they've been playing defense with Ian McCarter just kind of manning out there.
Ian McCarter and Rudine are all very active on defense.
Toss play, Gokin, and Gokin parried again, and there is McCarter. It's one play for Bryan, one play for McCarter. It's like they're a relay team, just handing the baton back and forth.
A much used term is smash mouth football. Now watch this.
Gokin pays the price here for being impatient. He's got
there's smash mouth right there.
He's got to stay with his block.
That kid right there, that's Andy McCarter, and he's their leading rusher and one of their top tacklers, and playing himself a whale of a football game tonight.
He's a guy you could see wearing a college uniform somewhere at some point. Farewell slings it over the middle. What a catch by Gatzmeyer. How did he get a hold of that football? And Gatzmeyer somehow able to make the grab as the ball was thrown well behind him. And he gets minimal yardage on the play. It's 4th and 9.
It's one of those where you see if your shoulder blade is still.
Yeah, I'll say.
If they still come together, those hurt. It's right in the small of the back as he's reaching back behind him for the grab.
It's the kind you go back to the quarterback and say, if you fully expose me again like that, you and I are going to see each other before we get on the bus.
Niewarner splits out wide left. Gokin goes wide to the right side on 4th and 9. Farewell firing towards the end zone, and it is caught. Was he inbounds?
Great catch.
And it is a touchdown. Niewarner able to pull it in. He got a foot inbounds, and converting on 4th and 9. The Panthers strike for 6.
Using that 6'3", 210-pound advantage over there. And he had to be within about a half an inch, guys, of going out of bounds over there. But just tremendously successful in terms of concentration and the ability to catch the ball. And then just a great throw over there by Farewell.
And how about this stat, guys? Bancroft-Rosalie is now 4 for 5 on 4th down conversions. You don't see that very often.
You like that?
You don't see that in a season, perhaps. And now they'll go for 2. As the give on the option, fumble on the play, ball loose in the end zone, and I believe it's recovered by Bancroft-Rosalie's Evan Weberg, and they get the 2. Well, that seems fitting with all the fumbles we've seen tonight, that one ball bounces the way of the Panthers.
That could be a sign of things to come. The ball hasn't bounced their way all night, and here when we're boiling down to crunch time, they catch a break.
See the touchdown again here. Very well taking a look. Watch Niewarner here in the end zone and just gets the feet in. He needs to get both feet in. College ball, it's just 1 foot. Here it's 2. And wow, he was locked in on that football.
It's a better throw or better catch there. Equally impressive.
But, you know, he hadn't caught many on the year. 18 receptions coming into the ball game, but 9 of those had gone for touchdowns. So make it 19 now and 10 TDs. That's an excellent game. And those are numbers you had for reception. About half of your receptions were TDs, weren't they?
Did they throw the ball when I was playing?
I don't think so. do it in practice.
Speaking of throwing, though, Jacob Farwell putting together a pretty efficient night. 8 for 11, 78 yards and a touchdown through the air. Not bad for this Bancroft-Rosalie team that's allegedly 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and they get the onside kick recovery, and the Panthers get it right back. Scooped up by Blake Reel, and some trickery fools the Overton Eagles.
Tried to squib it through there or kick it right at him. However it was designed, it worked out to the great benefit of Bancroft-Rosalie. As I'm not sure who it bounced off of. Was that
looked at initial glance like Nathan Bacon?
Nathan Bacon, I believe so, but
saved their Bacon, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's go downstairs and check in with Larry Putney.
Kevin, I just talked to the coach on the way by. So did you do that on purpose? Oh no, we were just trying to squib it through the hole.
Yeah.
That's just a really nice benefit.
That's right. That's what I thought. It either was the squibber, and it just happened, and happened fortunately for Bancroft-Rosalie. So they'll have another opportunity. Big play right there. Mark that one down at 4:29 here in the third.
Timeout taken by Bancroft-Rosalie, perhaps to figure out, oh, wait a minute, we're on offense again. We got to figure out something to do here. Well, if you'd like a DVD of this game or any of the state high school football or volleyball championships, log on to netnebraska.org and click on Shop NET or call 1-800-868-1868. It's a memory that will last for years to come. NET is Nebraska's home for sports. And if you're enjoying our coverage, or even if you're not, of Nebraska's state high school football championships, we want to know. We want to hear what you think of our coverage. Send us an email at sports@netnebraska.org. Your input is extremely important to us, so if you take a minute and shoot us an email on our state championship coverage at sports@netnebraska.org. First play, Farwell lobbing it out for Niewarner, and Niewarner cannot pull it in. Tremendous effort by Niewarner, reaching over to grab it, but he just couldn't keep his hands on it.
You know, guys, we're seeing this in the second game. We saw it in the first game where the receivers are out there and they're open, and the ball is just not delivered quick enough or hard enough or long enough. A little more air under that ball, a little quicker delivery, and he's got a chance to make it go a long way.
I think that might have a little bit to do with the frequency in which they practice these particular plays in practice and things of that nature. But again, you hit the nail on the head. That was a play that was there to be had.
Play fake over the middle, leaping up. It's tipped and it's incomplete. Now, 3 guesses as to who was able to get over there and tip that ball away for the Overton Eagle. Now it's no fair. You've got it right there in the middle of your screen. I mean, that you don't get to guess. Now it's McCarter, of course.
He is all over the field tonight. See the ball in the air, and McCarter.
It's that 36-inch vertical that Coach Snodgrass told us about earlier. He called him the most explosive athlete that he's ever coached.
5 interceptions on the year for McCarter.
He exploded up to tip that away, too. 3rd down and 10 from the 37-yard line. On the option, Farwell across midfield and shoved out of bounds in Overton territory near the 37-yard line. It's still going to be well shy of the first down. 6-yard pickup on 3rd and 10. And that'll bring up 4th down and 4 now for Bancroft-Rosalie.
I tell you, tale of 2 halves. If you take a look at these teams' body language at this particular junction of the game as opposed to the first half, it is extreme role reversal here where there's a team that's trying to develop a little bit of a swagger and a team trying to shake the cobwebs out right now, wondering what's going on.
4th down and 4, and the Panthers will go. Farwell wants to throw, pump fake over the middle, and it's intercepted by McCarter. And McCarter with a lot of green in front and great speed. McCarter across the 20 and inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. He's doing it all, and the 4th Panther turnover sets Overton up in great shape.
Farwell trying to get the ball to Devin Niewarner, and McCarter knew. Here's a smart, heady football player. Number 6 right there. He knew that possibly would be the play. He was going to go ahead and make the break in the ball, and he did. And the ball delivered just a little bit short. And boy, how fortunes turn in a football game.
1st down and 10 from the 16-yard line. McCarter, the toss to Hodgson. And Hodgson dropped at the 14-yard line. Tackle made by Devin Niewarner. And see if Bancroft-Rosalie's defense can stiffen again. Big moment here in this D1 championship. We've seen a lot of conversions tonight on 4th down, more so for Bancroft-Rosalie. They're 4 for 6 on 4th down. Overton 3 for 7 on 3rd, 0 for 1 on 4th. Trying to put some yardage together and put some points on the board. 2nd and 7. McCarter on the keep. McCarter's going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Andrew McCarter, who is very quickly engraving his name on the most valuable player trophy for this D1 state championship.
I'm sure we'll see it on the replay, but the play was birthed from an earlier play that they had success on with the counter look, where McCarter opened up away from the fullback and then sprinted out on the option. Same concept here, where he goes away from flow and runs counter back the other way.
And he walks in for the touchdown. It is his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night, his 27th of the year, and now on the 2-point conversion try. Easy to Dane Rudine. And the Eagles of Overton capitalize on the 4th turnover of the night from Bancroft-Rosalie and take a 20-8 lead with 3:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter in the D1 state champion. And we'll watch this, and we'll watch McCarter get celebration and congratulation from his teammates on the sideline after the interception by McCarter, the run by McCarter, the touchdown run by McCarter. McCarter at some point will have to get the bus warmed up to take him back home to Overton.
The hour of power with McCarter right here. Get the congratulations right there.
Sunday night at 7 Central Time on NET1, nature goes to Yellowstone for Christmas. See breathtaking landscapes, intimate scenes of wildlife, and the beauty that the holiday snows bring to Yellowstone. Don't miss nature, Sunday night at 7 Central Time on NET1.
Boy, how quickly fortunes change right there. Bancroft-Rosalie guys on a drive, looking pretty good, looking to maybe turn this thing around, maybe even take a lead if they can get that ball in the end zone, and then the interception by McCarter, that all just goes the other way very, very quickly.
And the kickoff taken at the 5-yard line. Little room to run for Gokin, and he takes it out to the 25. And Bancroft-Rosalie now down by 12 points again, trying to find a way to get a drive going here. They've moved the ball some, 162 yards total offense, or rather 206 yards total offense. Bancroft, though, has run 21 more plays than has Overton tonight, and they trail by 12.
Kind of unbelievable. We saw a similar thing last year a little bit, where in the C2 game, where we had Wade Bonds, who was everywhere out there that day. I believe that was in a losing effort, but or did Cambridge win last year? I'm drawing a blank here, but very similar players with McCarter and Bonds, where one guy out there just seems to be dominating the football game on both sides of the ball. Big, strong, fast, athletic kids. Just imposing their will out here.
Bancroft-Rosalie naming a 10-minute advantage also, as Kevin was talking about the numbers there a minute ago. But when you run that option offense, you're going to do that. You're going to run a lot of plays and knock off a lot of time. They do have that 10-minute advantage, but boy, that 20-8 score is still staring them right in the face.
1st down and 10 from the 25-yard line. And the give up the middle to Novak, and not much there for Novak, as he picks up a yard or so right up the gut. It'll be 2nd down and long for Bancroft-Rosalie. 3 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter.
It's built just like a little C-cell battery, low to the ground, and tries to give him a charge out there. Got to find a way to keep the integrity in the middle of that defense.
2nd down and 8 at the 27-yard line. 2:42 remaining. Farewell to throw. Down the near sideline for Gokin, and it's off his hands and incomplete. Tough play to make for Gokin, guys. Running down that sideline, trying to keep himself inbounds and also keep his eye on the ball.
It's the same play, Kevin, they ran just before halftime, and they got the ball down here about the 10-yard line, inside the 10-yard line. And again, it's a difficult play. Overton had it covered pretty well this time, but the ball not thrown with quite the precision, and Gokin not able to catch up to it.
You think about Bancroft's patience here. They recovered the onside kick. They come out and throw 2 deep balls. They run on 3rd down, throw it on 4th, get the interception. Then they come out firing down the field again here. Get a little bit impatient here with kind of what their offense does well.
3rd down and a long 8 for the Panthers. The give up the middle, looking for running room. Still churning forward with Brian Jeffries on his back is Novak. He'll end up 5 yards short of the first down at the 30-yard line. And it's 4th down and 5. And Bancroft-Rosalie is probably going to punt it away.
Straight dive right up the middle, and look at the power in those legs. Novak is just a little guy, but man, low to the ground, as you said, Damon, and those are the toughest guys to really bring down. He's 5'7", 185, and a lot of power on those legs.
Weberg ready to punt it away on 4th and 5. A wobbly punt. Flag is down, and the punt goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Now it was 4th and 5, and the flag down at the line of scrimmage. We'll wait and see if it's against Overton, but it is a hold against Bancroft-Rosalie. Dr. John Cerny, the head coach, wondering what's going wrong here over the last few minutes for his team. Looked like they had all the momentum, scoring, making it 12-8, getting the ball back on the squib kick, and well, turnovers. That's been the storyline all night long for this Bancroft team.
I think I got the question answered, or the answer to my hypothetical question, where I wondered how Overton would respond if things got a little hectic or didn't seem to go their way. They've responded, and they've responded well.
There's no question Glenn Snodgrass's team has really stepped up to the challenge. The hold is going to be declined. The Eagles will take the result of the play, and with a 20-8 lead now, wouldn't be surprised if we start to see another big dose of Joel Hodgson, maybe a little Trevor Bryan thrown in, and Andrew McCarter, of course, as well. That clock now starts to become the friend of the Overton Eagles.
So they showed a little eye last series. We'll see if they stay with it.
They do, at least on this first play. Breaking huddle, 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. That shift to the right by the fullback, and the give goes to Trevor Bryan. And Bryan, look at that tough run. Trevor Bryan bowling tacklers over, finally brought down by Devin Niewarner after a 10-yard gain.
Bryan hasn't carried it a lot this year, but an excellent play right here. Slips that tackle right at the line of scrimmage. You make the tackle right there, you stop at no gain, but Bryan would have none of that. Pretty much all on his own out there, and moves the sticks.
Showed good high knees going into contact too. That's what you like to see from your running backs when they're getting ready to absorb contact. They want to get lower than their tackler.
Alongside Adrian Fiala, Damon Benning, Larry Putney down on the sideline. I'm Kevin Kugler from the D1 State Championship. It's 1st down and 10 for Overton from the 37-yard line, and a good high-low tackle on the carry up the middle by Hodgson. Nothing doing. May have picked up a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9, but boy, good stiff tackle up front from the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers.
Devin Niewarner on the hit, number 14, right straight up immediately. No yards after contact. A little help there from Kyle Novak coming in to help out, but Niewarner, excellent work on the tackle.
2nd down and 9 from the 36. McCarter taking a little time off that clock. Play clock at 10 when he snaps it. Gives to Hodgson. Hodgson sweeping the near side, and Hodgson with a 1st down out of bounds inside the 25-yard line of Bancroft-Rosalie. Clock will stop with 46 seconds left in this 3rd quarter, and Overton starting to flex its muscle here in this 3rd quarter.
It's a great lead block out there on the perimeter. As we take a look at the replay here, Mr. Do Everything, number 22. I mean, you could call him by name, you can call him by number. Everybody knows that this guy has been everywhere out there on the football field. Being unselfish, doesn't have the ball in his arms, but still being the key to that play.
1st down and 10 from the 25. Short side toss. Hodgson still gets good yardage. We look at him walk the tightrope inside the 20. That play didn't look like it had any right aid to pick up 5 yards, but it did on that short side.
We talk about going downhill, and right now it's going downhill on offense for Overton. And they came in with a purpose, extremely focused, as we talk about at the top of the show, Kevin. And you see it happening right now. This whole change of momentum has swung over to them, and Bancroft-Rosalie had it going their way, but Overton has stolen that away.
2nd down and 4. Toss again. Bryan trying to weave around some tacklers. Flag is down. That's Drew Carr, rather, the tailback on that play. Drew Carr moves it inside the 15. It's a 1st down if the play holds, but I don't know that it is.
I think Brandon Cupp delivered a good block to start out, and then he came back with a block, and I think he blocked him in the back.
And it is an illegal block against Overton.
Watch number 40 here. He's going to make a good block right here. That's a good block. Now watch the 2nd block. in the back. You just he took a great play and turned it into a bad play. But hey, that's effort. I mean, I remember Bob Devaney used to say, if you're going to make a mistake, go 100%, and he did.
Well, that mistake will move them 10 yards back to the 30-yard line. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 15 now for the Overton Eagles. With the lead, though, they'll be happy to run some more clock. Try to chip away at that 15 yards on 2nd down. And it's Hodgson with McCarter trying to lead the way, and Hodgson just churning forward again. It's tough running right now. Hodgson making some tough yardage on that carry. 3 yards, he ran out of his shoe.
Get the feeling that Bancroft can't afford to give up any more points here. It's paramount that they keep this thing within 2 scores, the way that their offense has had to work so hard to move the ball up and down the field. Got to keep this thing within 2 scores. If it gets to be any greater than that, you can almost Katie bar the door on this one.
It's going to be very, very difficult, David, for that to happen as time runs out here in the 3rd quarter.
So we start the 4th quarter with Overton facing a 3rd and 12, but through 3, a good 3rd quarter for the Overton Eagles. They maintain that 12-point lead as we head to the 4th quarter in the D1 state championship game.
Some people tell me it's just a game, but it's more than that, at least to me. It's years of playing catch with my dad and friends in the backyard. It's a drawer full of jerseys and a lifetime of loving the game.
The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates every player and coach who plays the game safely, with spirit, integrity, and pride. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
NET sports coverage of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybean.unl.edu. By Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska, the Blues are good for you. And by the Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services. The 4th quarter about to begin in the D1 State High School Football Championship. Overton with a 20-8 lead. The Eagles with the football, 3rd and 12 on the Bancroft-Rosalie 27-yard line. Alongside Adrian Fiala, Damon Benning, Larry Putney roaming the sidelines. I'm Kevin Kugler from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Great to have you with us tonight for the first day of high school football championships. 3rd down, McCarter on the option. Ball bobbled, picked up on the hop and out of bounds. Drew Carr, that looked like a Keystone Cops routine down there, but he was able to scoop it up and get out of bounds at the 22-yard line, a 5-yard pickup.
It's called the old clubhouse bounce here. You'll take a look again. That option play, he didn't know the ball was coming down. I think he hit him right in the head, didn't it?
Doink.
And then he gets smacked as he's going out of bounds. So he just shouldn't forget about that play.
A rough play for Drew Carr.
Yeah.
If you're going to get hit, you at least want to be moving the ball forward when you're getting hit. 4th down and 7, and Overton will go for it on 4th down. McCarter on the roll, under pressure. McCarter in trouble, winging it down towards the end zone. All alone is Hodgson for the touchdown.
I tell you what, that's just a great player making a great play. How he eluded the rush, kept his head up, and had enough sense of presence to know where his wide open receiver was.
Throw it up. Hodgson, Hodgson did a great job to get downfield and just hope that ball will be there. And I'm not sure what happened to the defenders on that. They just pulled up at about the 10-yard line.
They had to be thinking sack.
Yeah,
like I was thinking sack.
Yeah, but boy, there's a receiver back there. You better stay with him, folks. And they did not. Boy, I tell you, that's a great job to get rid of the football.
McCarter with 2 completions tonight, both touchdowns. One to Rudeen and one to Hodgson. He's also rushed for 2 touchdowns.
That's called efficiency. If there's a word to describe it, efficiency would be it.
And the extra point is no good by Hodgson. He's had a rough night kicking. It's about the only thing that's gone wrong for the Overton Eagles tonight, as they now lead 26-8 in this D1 State High School Football Championship. And we'll watch the touchdown one more time.
Let's take a look at how elusive and strong he is. He withstands that rush. Good poise. He keeps his head up, understands where the play's trying to develop, and he just makes a play.
Yeah, he kept the vision of the field, even though the pressure was there and his body was really looking to do some other things. His mind and his eyes stayed upfield, and great job to just stand in there, concentrate, and focus. And that has been pretty much the watchword for this football team all year, is focus. And I think if anything, that play just personified focus.
It's a tough skill to teach too, when quarterbacks are under duress and things are going on around them, to make plays with their head up while continuing to look downfield.
Kickoff taken at the 8-yard line, looking for some running room on the near side, and not finding much is Jeremy Anderson. And that's Bancroft-Rosalie's next possession, starting from the 21-yard line. Well, we had a winner tonight in our Nebraska High School football trivia question. The Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame winner that coached at Omaha University, first African-American to hold a head coaching job at a predominantly white university in the United States. His wrestling team brought the first ever national championship to the state of Nebraska. David Fringer of Omaha knew the answer was Dr. Don Benning of Omaha, Damon's dad.
The real doctor in the family.
The real doctor in the family, and a guy who obviously has had a tremendous impact on the sports scene, not only in the state of Nebraska, but in the Omaha Metro throughout his career, and I'm assuming has had a somewhat decent impact on your life.
Absolutely. He means the world to me. He's been my best friend now for 32 years, and I'm extremely proud of him. He's a man of few words, and he uses them well. He's efficient, much better than his son, that's for sure.
And up the middle on first down is Jacob Farewell for Bancroft-Rosalie. He ran out of his shoe. Boy, new shoelaces, the must for these two teams if they make it back to this state championship next year. We've seen a lot of shoes flying off here tonight. Good run by Farewell on first down. It'll bring up a 2nd and short after he picks up yardage from the 21 to the 27. It's 2nd and 4.
David, your dad, part of Omaha University years ago, part of that great athletic program. Al Caniglia was the football coach as a youngster, as we watch this play here.
And it's Farewell trying to find some running room. He's going to reverse field and nowhere to go. Well defended again. Brian Jeffries finally caught up with him, and it'll lose 2 yards back to the 25-yard line.
But just to finish that thought, Al Caniglia, part of ran that football program as a youngster. Used to hang around there a lot, and ran into your dad. And wow, what a great place to be back there in the 60s and the 70s.
He's definitely been an inspiration. He's not only been the backbone to our household, but just kind of the pillar of the strength in general in my life.
It's too bad his son turned out the way he did. 3rd down and 6, and the give goes to Devin Niewarner, and Niewarner goes nowhere again. Leading the way is Seth Area, also in on a tackle, Trevor Bryan and Dane Rudeen. And this Overton defense, they are a hungry and confident unit right now.
You bet. Right now, it's all going their way, and it's pretty much gone their way for quite a bit of the ball game. But right now, in particular, it's going the way of the Overton defense. Their offense has had a profound effect, but the defense now stepping right up, trying to preserve the situation for their team and a championship.
4th down and time to punt it away again. Weberg in to punt. Decent punt by Weberg right down the sideline, and it'll go in out of bounds inside the 20 and down at the 18-yard line. And that's where the Overton Eagles will start with the lead. 9:45 remaining in this 4th quarter. We'll be sure you're with us tomorrow morning beginning at 10:30 a.m. Central Time as the Class C2 state championship between the Blue Hill Bobcats and the Wakefield Trojans kicks off at 10:30 tomorrow. Join Adrian Fiala. Matt Davison will be back with us tomorrow morning, and also Larry Putney as well for the Class C2 State High School Football Championship, Blue Hill and Wakefield tomorrow morning, 10:30 Central Time on NET1 and NET HD. 1st down and 10 from the 17-yard line, and just a sneak right up the gut by quarterback Andrew McCarter, and I can't think of a guy that I'd rather have with the ball in his hands right now if I'm Glenn Snodgrass than number 6.
Absolutely. He's been the central dominant figure out there on the field tonight, a tremendous constant for Overton to hang their hat on. He has not wavered from the plan. He's taken care of the football, and he's made plays out there.
You know, he's 6'1", 219, well put together. I would never guess he'd weigh 219 pounds just looking at him, but really well put together, nice wiry frame.
Little toss now. Hodgson with running room. Hodgson gonna go down the sidelines, and Joel Hodgson will take it to the house for 6. And you can start polishing up the D1 state championship trophy after Joel Hodgson scoots in for 6 more.
Dane Rudine downfield that time, Kevin, and an excellent block to make things work, and a nice lane opened up on that right side for Hodgson just to scoot and go.
We talked earlier about that high risk, high reward defense, and that was a combination of that and fatigue that I think is starting to set in for this Bancroft bunch. As Coach Cerny alluded to earlier, now they're giving up about 20 pounds per player, and starting to really take its toll.
And now going for 2 with the 32-8 lead, and the give, nothing doing. No gain on the play. Good penetration from Jeremy Anderson for Bancroft-Rosalie. Throwing down on the play, the ball carrier was Kyle Novak.
See the replay again here in a second. As you see McCarter, a little toss sweep right to the inside, so well blocked. Carter, a good block right there. Kyle Novak took just a wide track that time and opened up the edge, and you give an open edge to this guy right here. He's got good speed, does Joel Hodgson, and he was able to move it right on down the line. 4.7 in the 40-yard dash for Hodgson.
Well, that almost didn't sound right, but you were exactly correct when you said McCarter getting a nice lead block there. You don't often hear that from your quarterback.
When your quarterback can do it, as we said a moment ago, Damon, at 219, he doesn't look 219 to me, guys. I don't know what you all think, but
whatever he looks effective. That's what he looks.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Hodgson, after that long run, will kick off. See how much juice is in that leg, and not as much as there has been. Anderson trying to find some running room, and Jeremy Anderson to the 23-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Bancroft-Rosalie with 8:52 to play. And earlier today, we talked with Glenn Snodgrass about the man that scored a moment ago, Joel Hodgson.
Joel Hodgson is just an absolute joy to coach. He's a kid that if you had 40 Joel Hodgsons, it would just be great. He's went 4 years and he's only missed 2 weightlifting workouts in 4 years. He's been a captain for 2 years. He started for 3 years. He's just he's just a blue collar kid. He doesn't want recognition. He doesn't want, he doesn't care if he scores a touchdown or not. He just goes out and does the dirty work, gets the big blocks for us from his fullback spot, goes out there on defense and just does his job. He's honestly been one of my favorite kids that I've coached over the years.
22 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown tonight for Joel Hodgson. That's not a bad state championship performance.
Not at all. And then the semis against Juanetta Palisades, 192 yards in that ball game and a touchdown there. So 2 great back-to-back games here.
On the short side toss, and out of bounds goes Gokin, taking it from the 23 near the 27-yard line, a pickup of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
You can just tell the impact that he's had on his coach. He's extremely emotional, and it's not often that you hear a coach, while a player is still playing for him, mention him as one of his favorites.
Yeah, that usually comes after the career is over. Don't like to say that necessarily. You don't want to offend those guys sometimes, but that just shows you the kind of impact Hodgson's had on this program. Up the middle goes Novak, and Novak on 2nd and 5 takes it to the 31-yard line, 3-yard pickup. And Bancroft-Rosalie will face a 3rd and 2 with 8:35 to play, 4th quarter, and down big in this D1 state championship.
Well, that's good, though. Snodgrass just go ahead and waiving the rule about the 5 years he has to wait to get in the Hall of Fame and put him in right now. So it's great stuff. Great stuff, Coach Snodgrass. Admire and respect you for that.
Well, when your guy goes out and rushes for 150 yards in the state championship game, you deserve that kind of praise.
Absolutely, Kevin. 192 in the game before. You'll go with that for sure. Wow, there's a tough yard or two.
1st down run, though, by Jacob Farewell. Just took the snap and moved it right ahead. Got a good push up front, and it'll be first down at the 34-yard line.
Well, right now, Overton has given up 8 points to Bancroft-Rosalie. That is indeed their season average for all of the games they played, all 12 games they played. We'll see if that stays that way with 8 minutes and change here in the fourth quarter. I think perhaps we'll see a few substitutions here shortly. Might change because of that, but so far Overton still acquitting themselves well on defense.
First down and 10, the 34-yard line for Bancroft-Rosalie. On the option, Farewell, late pitch to the short side, and Chase Gokin had to pitch it around a couple of defenders, and Bancroft-Rosalie pretty fortunate there that one wasn't tipped away. It's a 4-yard pickup to the 38-yard line.
I'm impressed right here with Gokin. This play won't make anybody's highlight reel as we take a look at it, but he has found a way to stay in this football game, playing hard for his team when he's obviously not anywhere near 100%. You see that shoulder continue to just hang rather limp.
And you can imagine what it's going to feel like tomorrow morning. It will hurt. 2nd and 6. Farewell. A little bit of a counter play, and Farewell has the first down, at least on initial glance, into Overton territory at the 36-yard line. Now we'll see. It'll depend on the spot, and it looks like it now may be just a shade short.
Extremely violent tackle there by guess who?
I'm going to guess McCarter again.
Yeah.
What a night he has had. Boy, oh boy. He's accounted for 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, and he's played tremendous defense tonight. Up the gut on 3rd and short, and give it to your fullback, Kyle Novak. And Novak, on his 18th carry of the night, has a Panther first down.
The problem with this offense now, guys, as we talked about, I think once earlier, is that this option offense takes time, and you don't have time left. You're behind by a bunch. You got 7 minutes left in the game, and you got to score a couple of quick ones. And they need to get this football in the end zone, but plays like that just burn too much time.
First down and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Farewell and the Panthers down 32-8. Right up the middle again, and a couple of yards for Novak. There's Rudine on the tackle for the Overton Eagles, and that clock continuing to run. 6.5 remaining here in this fourth quarter of the D1 championship.
It's a good sound football team that Coach Snodgrass has. Both teams actually, have played well tonight, but Overton especially, just physically, they looked the part, they played the part, and the scoreboard is a reflection of that.
2nd down and 7 from the 29. Farewell on the keep, and Farewell out to the 25-yard line. He'll pick up 4 yards. It'll leave Bancroft with a 3rd and 3 under 6 minutes to play now in the ball game. And Overton just as content to let this long drive take as much clock as Bancroft wants to use here.
Exactly, Kevin. Let him go, and when Overton gets the ball back, if they do, they'll just go ahead and do the same.
8th play of the drive on the toss, and Gokin, big hit leveled on him by McCarter once again, but Gokin's got the first down to the 21-yard line on 3rd and 3. Another 3rd down conversion. Bancroft now 7 of 17 on 3rd downs tonight.
Wow. Good testament to that Overton defense right there. And unfortunately, we don't have the ability to check out defensive stats here, but McCarter's got how many tackles? Take a guess, Damon.
I'm going to say he's in the 15 to, it looks like 19.
I've got it on my screen, Aid. It's 19 tackles, 16 of them solo.
Okay.
That's
a big night right there.
You hate to see you talking extremes, but you might never see that again.
Up the middle, and Novak takes it to the 19-yard line.
Especially from your quarterback.
That's unbelievable.
I'm glad you got a computer over there that will make that happen, Kevin. This one over here will not, but that's good. Good to hear.
I wasn't sure that it would, so I didn't want to make any claims until I clicked on the button.
Not only am I getting tutelage from Westwood Owens, nationally acclaimed commentator, I'm learning some IT skills too over here.
No, I'm a computer wizard, I'll tell you. 2nd down and 8 from the 19-yard line, and a short gain down near the 16-yard line. Looking in the record book right now, they do not have tackles in the record book, but 19 tackles in a single game has to be close.
I'm just
to a
thinking
state
of the
championship
16
game record.
unassisted.
Well, they may have that number here after this game. We'll just put a little asterisk in that book, Kevin, and say, see Andy McCarter.
What a night he's had. 3rd down and 6 from the 17. Approaching 4 minutes to play. Gokin sweeping the right side, and Gokin brought down at the 13-yard line, and there's another solo tackle for Andy McCarter. He's now at 20 tackles on the night.
20 tackles on the night, 3 rips as far as fumbles go, and an interception. And watch this here. They're trying to get out there quickly, a long toss to the edge, and get out to that edge quickly and get the corner turn. But again, Overton over there to shut her down. Good pursuit by the guys in blue right there.
20 tackles, 1 interception, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumbles recovered.
Yeah, it's
one of the best performances I've seen in a long time in a state title game.
It has to be. When not even talking about class, when you just talk about performance in a game and how dominant one particular individual has been, this has got to rank right up there with what anyone's done in any class in the state of Nebraska. This is bordering on phenomenal.
Let's go downstairs and check in with Larry Putney.
Well, Kevin, as we talked to Coach Glenn Snodgrass, throughout this week, you really got a sense of how proud he was of this team. He really used definitive things like the fastest team I've ever had, the most focused team I've ever had. And then, of course, the things that he said about Hodson and, how he's probably his favorite player ever that he's ever coached. You really get a sense that he's extremely proud of this team and what they've accomplished. They've now been down here to the state championship game 3 times in their career. Obviously, they were here to 03 and 04 and now back down here. And looks like they're going to win a state title this year. And if you look back, they could really be unbeaten this year, Kevin. That only loss coming to number 2 Axtell. They lost that game 19-15. In that game, Overton had 6 turnovers and more than 100 yards and penalties, and they still had a chance to win it at the end of the game. It was an interception return for a touchdown that cost them the win in that one.
And that win may have refocused them, as that 4th down and 2 carry is good for a 1st down. Gokin again gets the carry, and now Bancroft 5 of 7 tonight on 4th down conversions with that run.
If they could have flipped some of those over to the 3rd down side, everything might have worked out a little bit differently, but that is not the case as they pick up that 1st down. And when you take a look at the effort by McCarter, and then Kevin, you throw all of the you throw the passing situation in there too. Just he's 2 of 4, but the 2 completions for 2 touchdowns too. So everything went right tonight for Andy McCarter and the Overton Eagles.
1st down and goal from the 10-yard line. Farewell. As they try to strip the ball out of his hands again. The attempt at the strip was made by Trevor Bryan, and he's run out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Clock will stop with 2:52 remaining in this 4th quarter.
A lot of times you'll hear people say that the numbers don't lie, but in this game, a few of them are. Bancroft doubling up a time of possession on Overton of 31 minutes to right around the 15-minute mark. Bancroft is 8 of 17 on 3rd down, which is usually good enough to win you some ball games. That's up around the 47, 46 percentile. And efficient on 4th down, yet they find themselves trailing miserably as we wind down this 4th quarter because of turnovers.
And they've snapped the ball 33 more times than has Overton on offense. With that play, Novak down to the 1-yard line. 73 plays for Bancroft on offense, 40 for Overton tonight.
But again, as we talked about earlier, that option offense will do that for you. You'll grind a lot of time, you'll grind a lot of yardage and make those numbers look good. But when you give it to the other team has a quick strike capability and they get it done as they have tonight, as Overton has done tonight, those statistics will lie, as we talked about. You talked about, Damon, here just a moment ago.
3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line. Bancroft-Rosalie trying to put one on the board. We've got a whistle, and before this play started, the officials were in to stop it. It was a run by Farewell across the goal line, but it will be stopped, and a timeout is taken by Bancroft-Rosalie. Their 1 timeout left in the pocket here, and it comes with 2:13 remaining in this 4th quarter. 32-8, the Eagles with the lead over the Panthers here in this D1 State High School Football Championship. Be with us Saturday, November 25th for NCAA volleyball as the Nebraska Huskers host the Texas Longhorns live from the Nebraska Coliseum. NU suffered their first loss of the season last weekend in Colorado, but they're still #1 in the land. Join us November 25th live at 7 p.m. Central Time right here on NET and NET HD, Nebraska's home for sports. So 3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line for Bancroft-Rosalie. They have 272 yards total offense, 183 on the ground, but have just been unable, save one touchdown in the 3rd quarter, to put points on the board. Meanwhile, Overton, after a scoreless 1st quarter, 12 in the 2nd, 8 in the 3rd, 12 points here in the 4th quarter. Real methodical approach, but Overton with a big lead. 3rd and goal. The give to Novak. He's not going to get in. Stacked up at the 1-yard line, and it'll be 4th down. Good tackle by Tyler Davenport, who got in there to make the stop.
Of all the numbers we've talked about, the most important, it's been turnovers, and they've lost that battle mightily, and the score is a direct reflection of that.
Well, now it's 4th down and goal. 5 of 7 tonight on 4th down. This will be the 8th 4th down attempt by Bancroft-Rosalie. If they convert this, they'll have 6 points. Novak, the carry, and Rudin is right there to stand him up. What a head-up tackle by Dane Rudin, and we've talked a lot about McCarter tonight, Abe, but Rudin, that's his 17th tackle of the evening, his 12th solo stop.
Equally as effective as McCarter on defense in terms of tackles, and maybe just not as visible as far as the tackles go, but we saw him early in the ball game just be a factor quite frequently in that first series, and now a big play right here as the ball does go over. And man, that play right there just kind of typifies what's happened tonight to Bancroft-Rosalie, getting ever so close and just not able to get it done.
32-8, Overton with the lead, and now the Eagles will try to run this one out. We've got a flag down though, and a false start against the Eagles. It'll take it from the 2 to the 1, a half the distance penalty. And Glenn Snodgrass's team will have to hold off the celebration for a few more moments.
In a hurry to get that sneak in.
Anticipating that, I would imagine everybody is. Be a surprise if it was anything else.
Well, it's it's really incredible and also commendable that Overton, whose specific goal, as we watch this play develop here.
And there is that aforementioned sneak over the left side, and even with the sneak, good yardage for the offense of the Overton Eagles, and adding to the numbers of Andrew McCarter.
But as we talked about earlier in the show, their express goal was to win the state championship. They're going to do that. Last year they were 6-3 on the year, lost in the first round of the playoffs after 2 consecutive years in the state finals, and it's really commendable, and that the team just can set that goal, focus on it, and achieve it.
Great gesture.
And a new line coming in. It's like a line change in hockey as everybody makes the move. And the Overton Eagles will let the backups play. Andrew Romy, the quarterback. And Romy hands it off up the middle. The carry by Jared Hodgson, who Glenn Snodgrass said has an extremely bright future in this program. A terrific speed back. And Jared Hodgson, a young man that they expect big things from in the very near future for Overton.
5'10", 175, Kevin. Had a 71-yard kickoff return against Stewart this year, Jared Hodgson. And lots of good things are going to happen for that youngster, just a freshman, as you said.
Third down carry up the gut for the fullback. I believe Drew Carr. Drew Carr getting the carry on 3rd down, and that is going to do it for this D1 state championship, and the celebration has begun. 2 times they made it here. 2 times they fell short against Howells, but this time Overton is able to cash in. The D1 state championship belongs to the Overton Eagles. A 32-8 performance, and a dominating one over the Bancroft-Rosalie Panthers tonight.
Indeed it was, and it's just a good example of what happens when you set a goal. We all hear about it. You set a goal in your lifetime and you work to achieve that goal, and the Overton Eagles did just that. And again, as I just said a little bit ago, what a commendable situation for them, and you just tip your hat to them. A great year, and the same thing for Rosalie, to Bancroft-Rosalie.
It's a heck of a job. It's methodical, very workmanlike. And at the end of the day, it just really boiled down to what I believe is physically Overton just being better than Bancroft. They had more big play capability, seemed to have better athletes out there on the field. And down the stretch, it didn't matter how much they did or didn't have the football.
The champions of Class D1, the Overton Eagles, 32-8 the final tonight at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. We'll hand out the awards on NET Sports next.
Programming on NET Television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
The headaches were changing my daily routine.
Migraines caused Karen to see a neurologist who recommended a prescription.
I didn't want the drugs, and that's when she said to start walking. And so I started walking, and I haven't had a headache since. I'm a lot healthier than I was, and I can accomplish a lot more because I feel better. I just let Blue Cross Blue Shield know that I was living proof that walking does work.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska.
The blues are good for you.
Hi, Kevin Kugler and Adrian Fiala inviting you to join us for Big Red Wrap-Up.
Kevin, our guest will be sports writer Lee Barfnick from the Omaha World Herald.
Join us Tuesday, November 28th for Big Red Wrap-Up here on NET, Nebraska's home for sports. NET sports coverage of the 2006 Nebraska State High School Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybean.unl.edu. By Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska, the Blues are good for you. And by the Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, the site of the State High School Football Championships, and tonight the site of a crowning of a champion. The Overton Eagles, 32-8 victors here in the D1 State Championship over Bancroft-Rosalie. Two great teams, and Overton the better tonight as they win the Class D1 State Championship. Let's go to public address announcer Rich Broderson for the Class D1 Awards presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nebraska School Activities Association is honored to have medals and trophies for both of these outstanding teams. The award presentations will be made by NSAA Board of Control members Max Kroger from Ord, Glenn Morgan from Neely Oakdale, and U.S. Bank Representative Karen Gillespie. Here are the awards for Class D1 runner-up Bancroft-Rosalie High School. Will head coach Dr. John Cerny and your assistants please come to the sideline stage to present the silver medals to the members of your team. Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 2, Colton Bowling. Number 5, Reese French. Number 6, Jacob Farewell. Number 7, Jeremy Anderson. Number 11, Chase Gokin. Number 12, Derek Dufik. Number 13, Cameron Brumman. Number 14, Devin Newarner. Number 18, Blake Reel. Number 21, Clint Saul. Number 22, Austin Bono. Number 23, Connor Brumman. Number 24, Stuart Mole. Number 26, Anthony Edwards. Number 27, Riley Mole. Number 30, Kyle Novak. Number 33, Joshua Butler. Number 34, Andrew Kreckmeyer. Number 35, Jeffrey Newman. Number 37, Derek Buck. Number 38, Andrew Bono. Number 40, Thomas Luchin. Number 44, Justin Gregerson. Number 47, Sean Wellman. Number 54, Bo Davis. Number 56, Michael Hawk. Number 58, Ashton Marr. Number 61, Jeremy Schutze. Number 66, Derek Mueller. Number 69, Kyle Robertson. Number 77, Justin Fredrickson. Number 80, Jesse Monroe. Number 82, Tristan Nelson. Number 88, Jace Gansmeyer. And number 91, Evan Weber. And now, here is the 2006 Class D1 runner-up trophy. Congratulations, Bancroft-Rosalie High School.
Well, a terrific season for Bancroft-Rosalie, and it falls a little bit short here in this state high school football championship as they fall to Overton 32-8, but nothing to take away from this season except good feelings once it's over. A very successful year for Bancroft-Rosalie despite the loss here in the D1 state championship.
Indeed it was, Kevin. You look at their year, as we talked about earlier, just lost that one game to Dodge, the D2 champ this year. That's the only game they lost, save for this one. And you just look at your season and be proud of your season. They ran into a buzzsaw here in these Overton Eagles, a team that really was focused and on a mission to win. And you commend Bancroft-Rosalie and fellas, just keep it rolling and continue to play the kind of good football you have for Coach Tierney, and obviously again in the finals here sometime soon down the road.
Well, and now let's head back to our public address announcer Rich Broderson to crown the champs in Class D1, the Overton Eagles.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the champions from Overton High School. First, head coach Glenn Snodgrass. We have a special award for you. Now, Coach, would you and your assistants hand out the gold medals to the members of your championship team? Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 3, Christopher Davey. Number 5, Vicente Tejada. Number 6, Andrew McCarter. Number 7, Tyler Nitch. Number 8, Jared Schaefer. Number 9, Brian Jeffries. Number 10, Joel Hudson. Number 11, Andrew Romy. Number 12, Nathan Simpson. Number 14, Cherokee Else. Number 15, Daniel Zolkowski. Number 18, Thomas Cravey. Number 20, Jared Hudson. Number 21, Benjamin Fisher. Number 22, Trevor Bryan. Number 24, Taylor Swanson. Number 27, Seth Area. Number 29, Drew Carr. Number 30, Thomas Marshall. Number 31, Kyle Seeberger. Number 32, Tyler Hanks. Number 33, Brad Hanks. Number 34, Zachary Reinick. Number 36, Michael Gregg. Number 38, Lee Greenleaf. Number 40, Brandon Cupp. Number 42, Nathan Bacon. Number 44, Dane Rudine. Number 45, Paul Martin. Number 48, Manuel Ventura. Number 53, Mitchell Spanel. Number 55, Benjamin Nelson. Number 58, Justin Jeffries. Number 72, Brady Cox. Number 76, Colton Schwartz. Number 77, Logan Luke. Number 79, Ryan Cox. Number 90, Michael Zern. Number 81, Tyler Davenport. And number 88, Caleb Jensen. And now, for these outstanding athletes and their school, here is the 2006 Class D1 State Football Championship Trophy. Congratulations, Overton High School.
Well, it was disappointment in 2003 for Andy McCarter and crew. In 2004, more disappointment. But McCarter came back in 2006 and played a whale of a football game to lead Overton to the D1 State Championship. What a night for Andy McCarter and for this entire Overton Eagle squad. Congratulations to them. The D1 State Championship, and let's head down into that happy group of Eagles. That's where we'll find Larry Putney.
Well, thanks, Kevin. First, Coach Snodgrass, you said before tonight began you wanted to show the entire state what Overton football was about. It appeared you did that. How did you feel about the way they played?
I was so proud of the way they played. You know, all the hard work that they've put in the off season, and you know, all the sprints and all the reps in the weight room has just paid off. So I was extremely proud of the boys.
This senior class, they've been to 3 state championship games. First one they've won. Talk about what this senior class has meant to Overton football.
Well, they've been great all the way through. I mean, this group has been a group that's just, you know, just done what I've asked of them for 4 years. You know, like I said, in the weight room or, you know, on the practice field or whatever. They've just been, you know, and a lot of them, this is their 3rd year of playing a lot of varsity football. So they're a bunch of great athletes, but a bunch of great kids too. So yeah, they've been just a blessing for Overton.
First state championship ever for Overton. What's this mean to the town?
It means so much to these kids, but it means a lot to the entire community. I mean, the whole community just rallied around us all week, and you know, especially today. And I'm just so happy for everybody in the town that was behind us and that helped us along the way. And it really means a lot to the whole community.
I want to talk about the performance of one individual, especially Andrew McCarter, who had 18 solo tackles, the 3 assists, 21 total tackles. He recovered 2 fumbles, forced 3. Had a hand in 4 different touchdowns. Talk about what he meant, not only in this game, but throughout the season.
Oh, he's just made plays all year. I mean, he's a kid who's a hard-working kid, puts his time in, and he listens. But he's just an athlete who gets the job done. You know, people who don't see Overton very often see him make these plays, and they're surprised. But, you know, we just say he does it all the time. So it's not a big surprise for us. So he's been a blessing to have on our team for 4 years, and it's really sad that he's going to be gone.
I bet it is. Congratulations on the state championship. Let's bring in Andrew McCarter. What a performance. First of all, talk about how the slow start, were you concerned at all, and what turned it around for you?
Oh, I wasn't really that concerned, and just didn't think we were going to lose. So
18 solo tackles. You had a hand in 4 touchdowns. You forced 3 fumbles, recovered 2 of them. You had an interception. Is this just kind of typical night at the ballpark for you, or the football field for you?
Oh, I think I had a pretty good night tonight, but sorry.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
Well, we lost the sound of Larry Putney down there on the field with Andrew McCarter. And Andrew McCarter, though, what I'm sure he was going to say was, yep, I had a wonderful night, but our team had a wonderful night. State championship, 32-8 the final for Overton.
Well, he has been, as Coach Snodgrass said, he has been their moving force all year, and you can see a little bit of the battle scar on his face right there, but that's the mark of a guy who has he probably had his nose in almost every play in this game. Andy McCarter, what a game. What a game.
Terrific performance tonight by McCarter, and really an unsung hero defensively, Damon. Dane Rudine for Overton ended up with 17 total tackles tonight, and as involved as McCarter was, Rudine was very good as well.
Absolutely, and he was a guy that Adrian brought our attention to early in the game when he was making plays all over the place, and he continued his dominance. And his 6'6" frame, he made sure it fit all over the TV screen because he was everywhere.
Great job by Rudine, their leading tackler, and those 2 guys just dominated this game tonight.
Well, if you'd like to get a DVD of this game or any of the state high school football or volleyball championships, log on to netnebraska.org and click on Shop NET or call 1-800-868-1868. It's a memory that will last for years to come. NET is Nebraska's home for sports. Well, day 1 is done in the state high school football championships, but day 2 kicks off tomorrow morning at 10:30 Central Time on NET1 and NET HD as the Class C2 state high school football championships will commence. The Blue Hill Bobcats taking on the Wakefield Trojans. Be sure you're with us for all the action of the C2 State High School Football Championship tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. Once again, our final score tonight, the Overton Eagles with a 32-8 win over Bancroft-Rosalie. They are the D1 State Championship. Be with us tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central for the Class C2 State Championship, as it is going to be Wakefield against Blue Hill tomorrow in the C2 Championship. And now for Adrian Fiala, Damon Benning, Larry Putton, the entire NET Sports Production crew, I'm Kevin Kugler. Goodbye from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Some people tell me it's just a game, but it's more than that, at least to me. It's years of playing catch with my dad and friends in the backyard. It's a drawer full of jerseys and a lifetime of loving the game.
The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates every player and coach who plays the game safely, with spirit, integrity, and pride. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
Men's basketball returns to NET2 this Saturday as the Huskers tip off against the Creighton Blue Jays. Live coverage begins at 7 Central Time. Don't miss the action this Saturday night. It's only on NET2.